I'm Christine Lisi. Bill safety Damar Hamlin's gotten the green light to resume his NFL career, and he plans on doing just that. Hamlin told reporters his heart's still in the game, and what happened in Cincinnati on January 2nd isn't the end of his story. Specialists have cleared him to resume playing without any fear of setbacks or complications after going into cardiac arrest during a game January 2nd. Where Hamlin is today is no surprise to teammate, quarterback Josh Allen.
Never going to doubt a guy like that who's had a lot of adversity in his life, and he's continued to find ways, and this is just another obstacle that he's been able to get around and push forward, and super excited for him, super excited for our team. He's a heck of a football player, and we love having him back.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts had minor ankle surgery this offseason, reports ESPN's Tim McManus. He'll be a full participant in the Eagles offseason program. NBA playoffs, Bucks power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo did not practice today due to a back contusion. The team is optimistic, though, about his status for Game 2 tomorrow night against the Heat. Grizzlies point guard Ja Morant, a game-time decision for Game 2 against the Lakers tomorrow night because of a hand injury.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Good to be back. Thanks to Muse for filling in yesterday. Greatly appreciated. Lost my grandma last week, and so we had her funeral yesterday, celebrated Grammy's life, and really, really tough few days for our family. But glad to be back. Glad to have had that time with family, and excited for today because we got a ton of like really good stuff today. Maason Smith was back at practice. Javen Coleman is starting for LSU tonight, and Carlos Stewart made it official. He pledged to LSU basketball. So we got a ton of really some days the negative stories tend to be more engaging. Like the show after LSU loses a football game is always just going to be, there's going to be more angst. It's weird how it's that way, but it's the same reason why when people don't call the manager over at a restaurant to say, hey, I just wanted to let you know. The food was fantastic. The server was just absolutely pleasant as can be. We're thrilled and can't wait to come back. Like, you call the manager over because you're like, the server's rude, my grits are cold, get me more or I'll write a bad review. It's just, we all sort of gravitate toward the negative more, and that's just kind of what it is. But today, tons of positive, and I'm really, really excited to delve into all of it. I was looking at some of the LSU spring football practice recaps from this morning, and imagine my surprise and the surprise of many when we see that Maason Smith was at practice today. And not just at practice, but was going through individual drills. Now, so was Deshaun Womack. And Deshaun Womack is the 5-star freshman early enrollee, edge player, going to play that jack spot most likely. Really good edge rusher. He's missed a little bit of time as he's coming back from a labrum injury. But we all know Maason Smith's story. Okay, Maason Smith, 5-star, Terrebonne, number 1 defensive lineman in the country, all that stuff. Comes to LSU, explodes on the scene as a freshman, and was supposed to be the guy last year. And then first defensive series of the season against Florida State. We know what happens. He has the ACL injury, and he's done for the year, and we're all left wondering, what if? Well, the good news is spring football started several weeks ago, last month actually. Maason Smith was out there doing conditioning, and all the words were that Maason Smith was going to be available for fall camp and was just going to be in uniform, just conditioning on the side, all that sort of stuff. But, man, I'm not going to overreact, okay? I'm not going to overreact to Maason Smith hitting dummies and doing like the all of the different shoot drills and the different things that defensive linemen do, okay? They're still just drills, but this isn't just like jogging on the side. This is like doing football activities. And this guy tore his ACL in September. It was Labor Day weekend, man. So you're talking October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 7 months, man. 7 months after he tore his ACL, he's in pads doing football stuff when we weren't expecting to see this until fall camp. And this is so massive because, look, last year in fall camp, Brian Kelly called Maason Smith their best player. Not just like the best defensive tackle or the best defensive player. Just he was the best player on the team. And I remember there was one of those days when Brian Kelly allowed the media access to a full scrimmage. And shame on me, I should have dug up my notes from that scrimmage. I'm sure I got them in a notebook somewhere, but I could have told you exactly. But there was a sequence where the offense was driving and they were in a red zone. It was in a goal-to-go situation, and on 3 consecutive plays, Maason Smith obliterated the play. He got a sack, he forced a fumble, which the offense recovered, and then he pressured Nussmeier, who rolled back about 20 yards to his right and just heaved one into the end zone. Should have been picked, but it was dropped. I think it was Jay Ward who dropped it. I don't want to call him out if it wasn't him, but I think it was Jay Ward who dropped it. But anyway, the point is, like, Maason Smith, even when they double-teamed him, nobody on LSU's team could block him. Now, at the beginning of the year last year, the offensive line had some serious issues as well. But that's still illustrative of how dominant a player he is. I want to remind you, and then when you lost Maason Smith, remember, you basically had a 3-man rotation. You had Mekhi Wingo, you had Jacoby and Guillory, and you had Jaquelin Roy. And those guys played basically all the snaps. You rotated some. You'd kick Ali Gay inside. You figured it out how you could to get more guys on the field. But, man, by and large, when you lost Maason Smith, it just crippled your defensive line rotation. And I'm not suggesting that the timetable to have him back in September wasn't realistic or ready to go in September wasn't realistic. But this goes to show you, like, a lot of times you see guys. Do you remember when Joe Burrow tore his ACL? Different position, I get it. But Joe Burrow tore his ACL in October, or in December, excuse me, with Cincinnati. And maybe it was October. But he tore his ACL late in the season with Cincinnati. And by Burrow's own admission, even though he was there week 1 the next season, he wasn't really himself until they got past their bye. It was a good month or so into the season, the year they went to the Super Bowl, until Burrow really said he felt like himself again. The fact that you've already got Maason Smith out on the field right now is pretty remarkable. And remember, that freshman season, this is what we sometimes lose sight of because it's been so long now. Maason Smith's freshman season, he only played in 9 games. He did battle some injury that year as well. He played in 9 games, started 4. That was it. Played in 9, started 4. Didn't even play a full season as a freshman. So we've only seen Maason Smith play 9 games. He had 19 tackles, but this is how disruptive he was. 5 TFLs, 4 sacks. Let me put some context on this. Jaquelin Roy, this past season, okay, as a junior. Jaquelin Roy, who might very well be a top 100 pick in this upcoming draft. He's zooming up draft boards. In his junior season this year, Jaquelin Roy had 3.5 tackles for loss and a half a sack. Maason Smith had more TFLs and sacks as a freshman in 9 games than Jaquelin Roy just had in his draft season. Mekhi Wingo, All-American this past year. 6 TFLs, 3 sacks in 14 games. Maason Smith, freshman, 9 games, had 5 TFLs and 4 sacks. 1 fewer tackle for loss, 1 more sack than Mekhi Wingo had in an All-America season this past year in 14 games, in 5 more games. My point is, you get Maason Smith 2 years older, healthy, over a full season. Hopefully it's 13, 14, 15 games. What do those numbers look like? If you have a healthy Maason Smith, you are literally talking about a guy that is Jalen Carter. Like the most fill in the blank of whoever the enormous, unblockable interior player is in college football, and that's him. It was awesome to see him out there today, man. And when you start to think about what this rotation is going to look like on that defense, I was doing an interview today, and someone said, where do you think is the best group on LSU's defense for this coming season? I said defensive tackle. You get Maason Smith back. You get Mekhi Wingo coming off an All-America season. You get Jacobin Guillory as a senior. You've added Jalen Lee from Florida, Jordan Jefferson from West Virginia, Paris Shan from Arizona, Tyjee Hill, who's in his second year now, Bryce Langston, who's been around. Like, all of a sudden, you got 8 guys. 8 guys, 6 of which are experienced veteran major college football. You got a gigantic rotation on your interior now. You've got depth and experience and talent. It's exciting, man. Really exciting to see Big Zero back there on the practice field earlier today. Don't want to overreact to him hitting sleds and dummies and all that sort of stuff, but doing football stuff ahead of schedule for Maason Smith is a great sign for LSU moving ahead. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Love telling you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Today is April 18th. Y'all, we're down to the final couple weeks of this month. Remember, the Evolve X body contouring system is the latest in body contouring technology. You've heard me for years talk about things like UltraShape and VeloShape and a lot of things that you know and you've heard promoted over the years. But this is the absolute latest and greatest technology. It's only at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. And all this month, introductory pricing. So before you hit beach season, maybe you've got like the lower abdomen, the love handles. Maybe it's butt, thighs. Diet and exercise just won't touch it. Men or women. There's trouble spots. This is the thing that can really attack those hard-to-reach areas. It's the Evolve X Body Contouring, limited time, introductory pricing just for the month of April at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. All right, y'all. Man, I'm excited about today. We'll go around the SEC in about 15 minutes from right now. And we will, by the way, Carlos Stewart, if you missed it, Carlos Stewart, Dunham, spent the past 2 seasons at Santa Clara. We talked about it. He did commit to LSU today. Carlos Stewart's going to be on the show at 5 o'clock Central. So to be straight up hour 3, Carlos Stewart's going to be here, talk about his decision to come home and play at LSU. So we're looking forward to having Carlos Stewart on the show today. All right, quick break. When we come back, got to talk about Javen Coleman. He was in the bullpen a couple of times this weekend against Kentucky. Never got the call. He'll have the ball tonight starting against ULL. We'll talk about it next on AFR.
AFR.
I want to take 60 seconds and remind you about New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, of course, Metairie, and then on Airline Highway in Prairieville. If you're going south on Airline Highway in Prairieville, you pass Walmart, look to the right. You can't miss it. Blue sign, blue awning. It's New Orleans Flooring. Every single day when we talk about New Orleans Flooring, I say, buy where the pros buy. The reason contractors and investors and remediation companies and home flippers and all of that buy at New Orleans Flooring is because they get the same product that you get at other stores at extremely reduced prices, because at New Orleans Flooring, they keep more than 1 million square foot of product in stock. So they're essentially giving you wholesale prices. You're going to save 40, 50% on flooring costs compared to other places. Go shop around if you want, or just go see Terrell and Big Sean and my friends over at New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, and always online, nolaflooring.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Each Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True Radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd
at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, LSU baseball back on the diamond tonight, fresh off a series win against Kentucky. Muse, I trust that yesterday on the show you all recapped the Kentucky series for LSU.
Correct.
Yeah. This team is so interesting because you could look at it a couple of ways. You could say, hey, they were an eighth inning rally away from losing a home series to Kentucky. That's true. You could also say you field a grounder at third or catch a fly ball and right and you sweep the series. And I feel like that's been the case for every series so far this year, where they have played with fire, but more often than not, well, all of the series have obviously won the series, save South Carolina, which was a push at 1-1. But I don't know, man. I kind of came out of Kentucky feeling I'm not going to go recap the whole series, by the way. That's been done, I'm sure, plenty by now, so I don't need to. You don't need to hear my full thoughts on it. I came out of Kentucky actually really encouraged with the pitching. Bryce Collins was magnificent in Game 3. And I thought, look, it's hard to do better than 9 up, 9 down, which Kristen Little gave you to start Game 3. And if I get 9 outs from my starter in Game 3, I'm good with that. I mean, is that the general feeling? I don't know what it was, what the general, was there angst coming out of the weekend?
No, I don't think there was angst. I think there was angst coming out of Friday night, but not out of the weekend. I mean, I think everyone understands they have some work to do on the mound still. You can't walk 28 guys in a weekend. That's you can't do that.
It unraveled on him Friday.
It did, but you still walked 8 on Saturday as well.
Here's my well, I said I wasn't going to recap Kentucky, but just one quick thought. Friday, you essentially started the game the same way you did Thursday. Mm-hmm. You raced out to it. Now it wasn't. Was it 11 to 1?
14 to 1 through 3.
Okay, 14
through 3. Yeah.
It was 11 to 1 after 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know.
It's so stupid. Continue. I'm sorry.
And they keep intentionally walking Dylan Cruz to get to
Dude,
Tommy White.
Michigan in the
Like,
8th inning.
what are you
What? No,
doing?
dude.
You loaded the bases.
On.
Well, no, I get, but then look, now we're doing it. We're recapping Kentucky.
You cannot
we're
do that with the game. Walking with the game of the line to get to the RBI leader in the country.
And he loaded the bases too. But it look, the force is in play.
I know his run's technically meaningless.
I get it.
Whatever,
I get all
whatever.
the stuff. I get it. But did you see my tweet on Saturday? I was like, the baseball gods will not allow LSU wearing their Sunday golds to lose to a team wearing vests that intentionally walks the bases loaded to get to the nation's RBI leader.
Yeah.
The baseball gods will not allow LSU to lose this game. And sure enough, first pitch, they hit Tommy White. And it's like, okay, there it is. There it is. Got it. We're good. Yep, go home. No, but the Friday game, just real quick. It's so easy, and a lot of the criticism I heard coming out of it was Jay made the wrong decisions. He leaves guys in too long, all the blah, 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 blah. You're up 6-3. It's first and second. You bring in Griffin Herring. One pitch gets a ground ball to third. One pitch gets the ground ball to third. White booted it. Not calling him out, just what happened. If your third baseman fields that ball and makes the play, you're out of the inning with a 6-3 lead after one pitch. And it's, brilliant. Made the right decision. Went to the right guy, right time, got the pitch, made the pitch, and it's true. Field the ball. And then Herring actually did a really good job coming back from a 3-1 count to work it full, got a foul ball, then the fly ball to right field that Joe Bear overran, 3-run score, and we know what happened after that. My point is, Herring did his job. So you could complain about the pitching all you want. He got a ground ball that should have been out of the inning on one pitch, and then worked back and got a fly ball to right, which also should have got you out of the inning with a 6-3 lead. So it's hard for me to say, the pitching, they suck, when Jay went to the bullpen, got the right guy who made the right pitch, consecutive hitters, the defense let you down. So I'm still bullish on Griffin Herring. I think Gavin Guidry pitched well. I understand the walks are a concern. Yes, this is also college baseball. This is not that's something people often lose sight of. This is not college baseball.
28 in a weekend is excessive. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm with you though.
But how many of those were on Friday when it was starting?
Well, I mean, you walked 8 on Saturday.
I'm not looking at a box score.
So you walked 8 on Saturday. I think you walked 7. So the majority of them, yes, were Friday, but it's
too many.
It's too many.
It's too many.
That's the point. It's too many.
It's
Other
too
than
many.
that, you pitched really well.
My point is when we talk about LSU, this is a zero-sum game with LSU baseball. We are talking about the national championship, right? It's a zero-sum game for this team.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Can I go to Omaha and win with Paul Skeens, of course?
Yes.
One other starter, probably Ty Floyd at this point, who's your number 2, who, again, did a really nice job steadying the boat after the first couple of innings, which seems to be his MO. Maybe Javen Coleman. We'll talk about it in a second. Maybe Christian Little. But if I start to look at the arms available, and I have Griffin Herring, and I have Gavin Guidry, and if Bryce Collins continues to pitch at this level that you really feel good about, like, I have enough arms with the way this team hits, and with Paul Skeens putting me in a winner's bracket game, I have enough arms to get through Omaha. If Christian Little pitches the way he did the first 3 innings, if Bryce Collins pitches the way he has the last handful of outings, how many is that consecutive strong outing? 5 consecutive strong outings now for Bryce Collins. Like he whatever eluded him early, he's found it, which is great to see. Now keep it going. And now what can you potentially get out of Javen Coleman? Gives you another lefty, and you're going to get Ackenhausen back probably this week. So there's enough there. It's not always the most aesthetically pleasing thing. I get it. But do you disagree? I think I look at it. I come out of it more encouraged, especially because of Bryce Collins and Christian Little.
I think the key, though, is another starter. Whether it's Floyd, whether it's whoever, you have to have someone else step up. Because if you don't, you're in a very similar situation you were last year where you're only getting 3-4 innings from a starting pitcher outside of Friday night where you're getting 5. Now you're getting 6. You can tax your bullpen pretty quick. Now, yes, you do have arms, but you don't have the depth that you did earlier in the year. So that's my only concern. But no, if you get Floyd back to 5-6 innings every time, you can do it. Absolutely.
I blame Todd Walker.
The Ole Miss comparison?
Yep.
But, I mean, he's right, though.
Todd Walker was on this show Friday, and I asked him if LSU had enough arms to do it. He said, yeah, look what Ole Miss did last year. He's 100% right.
He's right.
Dylan DeLucia, Hunter Elliott, that was it. That was it. They had those two guys, and they hit the crap out of the baseball, and they went undefeated in the postseason and won. You can do it. I'm not saying it's the preferred way to do it. But especially with Paul Skeens at the front in this lineup, where they intentionally walked Dylan Cruz to get to the nation's RBI leader, you can do it.
Bookend.
Oh, my God.
First game and the last game.
I know. All right, it's after further review. I did not intend to go that far down the Kentucky rabbit hole, as I just said I wasn't going to recap Kentucky, which I didn't really recap the whole series. We more took a big picture viewpoint of the pitching staff. But last week, Jay Johnson was asked if he thought Javen Coleman was going to pitch this year. Would Javen Coleman pitch this season? Here's what he said. Do we not have him? Oh, you're just trying to find it. Okay. Let me know when you got it, Muse. No worries. We'll just wait. It's your world. We're just living in it. Yeah. Okay, so do we not? No, I have it. What do you mean you have it? You clearly don't have it. I mean, Muse.
I do think Javen Coleman will pitch this year. I don't know when. We have 2 benchmarks we have to get past, but it's getting closer. And credit to him. I mean, he's
that's
recovered.
Enough. Thanks. All I need was him saying that he pitching it. Muse, what the hell was that? Like on the rundown, it says we're talking about Javen Coleman. You got all the Javen. We talked.
Yeah. So I had to.
Paul,
listen.
What happened to your what? Okay.
You can't ask me and then not let me explain.
I mean, I can.
What's rude? You don't need to do that.
This is a radio tatership, as we've established that this is a radio tatership.
Anyway,
this is not a radiocracy.
It was. I just had a different folder. I didn't pull it and save it into today's folder. It was from last Monday's folder. I just had to go into that folder and get.
But it's on the sheet.
I know. That's because I put them on the sheet. Like I pulled them into the Adobe that's on my desk. I just did not on this computer because I did not have them saved in today's folder.
Hey, Paul.
I have them.
Yeah.
Is it reasonable to assume that if there's a piece of audio on the audio sheet, that it is readily available to be called upon at any point in the show?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Okay. Thanks, Paul.
I actually think
you're the best,
too.
Paul. Thanks. Anyway, so Jay Johnson had his so last week said, yeah, go pitch this year. Jay Johnson was asked for an update on his radio show Monday on the injured pitchers. Number one.
You know, we're hopeful for a few, and a few others it's going to take longer for them to get back. But Nate Ackenhausen, we're getting a little closer to getting him back on the mound, which is a big deal right now for us. Javen Coleman, you'll see very soon, which is really, really exciting. I'm really proud of him and his comeback from his injury last year. That'll give us a little bit of a shot in the arm. You know, a couple other guys are a little bit further away, but we'll keep trucking, and the guys that stepped in did a great job.
We saw Javen Coleman in the bullpen twice against Kentucky, games 2 and 3. He did not get on the field or on the mound, but he was in the bullpen twice. And it wasn't just like he was light tossing with a jacket on. I mean, he was getting hot. Like he was prepared to come into the game. Also on Johnson's show last night, number 3, he was asked how he would use Javen Coleman when he returns.
Obviously, when we get him out there, we'll kind of build up his pitch count as we go. He's certainly plenty talented. Again, like on the 2022 team, him getting hurt really, really made it tough on us last year. And I think I really would have liked to have seen how 2022 would have played out had he stayed healthy, because we were just a little bit short of being an Omaha team last year. But he's close, and you'll see him very soon, and we're excited to get him out there. And we'll either use him as a short reliever or we'll build his pitch count up as we go. Time will tell kind of how we attack that one.
Yeah, last year Javen Coleman would have been your best left-handed arm. He would have been a rotation guy. He would have been your best left-handed arm, not even debatable. And you lost him for the year. That stunk. But we will wait no more. Leah Van tweeted it earlier. I think she had it first. Others have since followed. Javen Coleman is starting tonight for the game against ULL. So it is Javen Coleman getting the ball tonight against the Cajuns. I don't know how much they're going to extend him. It might just be an inning, but I don't really care. Just to see him back on the bump is exciting. And remember, Terrio was here on Friday. It sat right here. And I asked him about Javen Coleman, and he said he was being a little now we know he's being a little coy, because that night, Friday night, we saw Javen Coleman in the bullpen, and Terrio said he threw a bullpen last week where he was throwing 95, 96. So if you have even a piece of what Javen Coleman was as a freshman when he really emerged, especially late in the season in that postseason run and in the regional in Eugene. Maybe he's a guy that can become your number 3. Maybe he's a guy that just gives you another extended reliever from the left side out of the bullpen. But to have that is certainly welcome for a team that has lost Chase Shores and Garrett Edwards and, of course, lost Grant Taylor before the season. To have seen so many arms lost to injury, to gain one back and a significant one is massive. So we'll be watching with keen interest tonight as Javen Coleman will pitch for the first time in more than a year. He'll get the ball tonight against ULL. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. We'll come back, go around the SEC. Don't you move.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel in Baton Rouge, right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. They call it Southtown. So we tell you all the time, the same ownership group that has the Watermark downtown and the Renaissance in Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet near Interstate 10. So easy access to everything. But the best part about the Renaissance, everyone knows about their guest rooms and their suites, and it's a great place to stay when you have family coming in town. Everybody knows that. Remember, with the Renaissance, when it comes to hosting an event, at the Renaissance, they like to say, we're in the business of saying yes. So whatever type of event you may have, if it's if it's an award ceremony, if it's a wedding reception, there are Greek formals that take place there at the Renaissance Hotel, banquet rooms, or a board meeting for 12 people. At the Renaissance Hotel, they're in the business of saying yes when it comes to hosting your next meeting. Contact them today at the Renaissance Hotel.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down to my last dime. Cold in Baton Rouge. Operator, what you put me on through? Gotta send my love down the
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd
at the Ochsner Medical Complex at the Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and Joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad to have you rolling along with us here. Muse, can you give us an update on the Dreams Come True radiothon as well? I know there's we've done great with the Power Hour we've done the past couple of weeks with the gift cards available, but I know there's a ton of raffle items as well that are in the hopper for anybody who makes a donation. Of course, Dreams Come True Louisiana is a great partner organization that we've been with for so many years, raising money to grant dreams for children with life-threatening or terminal illnesses. Yeah, go ahead if you have it.
Well, yeah, to piggyback off that. I mean, every $5 donation, you can donate at 1045ESPN.com. Every $5 donation is an entry into the raffle, and like you said, I mean, there's a concert ticket package that includes tickets to see Shinedown, Thomas Rhett, Guns N' Roses, Hardy. You have a Justin Jefferson autographed LSU helmet and a Justin and Jamar Chase framed wall print. There's just a lot of different things there. Dreams Come True Radiothon presented today specifically by Luba, Lewis Mechanical, and Acura of Baton Rouge. Very cool. It's an awesome organization. No amount too small, and obviously no amount too big either. But if you can give, please do give. Go to 1045ESPN.com. You'll see the Dreams Come True Louisiana link right there on the homepage, and please give. And every donation enters you into the drawings for those great prizes. Okay, we're going to, in about 30 minutes or so, 25 minutes from right now, Mel Kiper, Todd McShay have like a dueling mock draft where they alternate picks. I'm not so much interested in that as I am the fact that there is a growing consensus for the Saints as far as mock drafts. So we'll do sort of a mock draft roundup. That's coming up. Feinswog's back next hour as well. Also, John Jancic, LSU's new special teams coordinator, met with the media today. You'll hear from him about 1 hour from right now. So, and then Carlos Stewart, who a basketball player from Dunham, who spent the last 2 years at Santa Clara, committed to LSU today. Carlos is with us to start hour 3. We've got a ton to do. Glad you're here. Right now, though, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And Eric Musselman is crushing it in the transfer portal right now. Landed another commit, former Louisville guard L. Ellis, 6'3", 180. He's a 4-star. He led Louisville last year at nearly 18 points and 4 assists per game. He was the third leading scorer in the ACC a year ago. He was the number 1 ranked JUCO player in the country when he signed with Louisville back in 2021. Arkansas, 5-man haul right now in the transfer portal, gives them the number 1 ranked transfer portal class in the country.
The Missouri Tigers.
Mizzou basketball landed Tamar Bates, former 4-star recruit from Kansas City. Chose Indiana over Mizzou out of high school, but after 2 years in Bloomington is transferring to Missouri. 6'5" guard committed over the weekend. Over the weekend, forgive me. Bates averaged 5 points a game for the Hoosiers last year, mostly as a reserve. He's the third transfer member for Dennis Gates in Mizzou this season.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
State football has seen a trio of players hit the portal. Remember, of course, the transfer portal opened up on Saturday, so you're going to start to see more football players jump in the portal. Offensive linemen Jackson Cannon and Lucas Taylor, they both jumped into the portal after just 1 season in Stark Vegas. Taylor, remember, was actually an LSU commit before he flipped to Mississippi State back in 2021. Also hitting the portal, wide receiver Marquez Dortch.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And second-year Bama tight end Elijah Brown has entered the portal. Did not play last season as a freshman. He took the red shirt. He was a 4-star recruit out of Dayton, Ohio, ranked number 299 nationally. Alabama has 6 scholarship tight ends on the roster, so they could afford to purge one here. Bama's spring game is on Saturday. Let's take a quick look at baseball action tonight around the league. Florida is at home hosting FAMU. Tennessee hosts Tennessee Tech. Kentucky is at home against Xavier. Georgia hits the road. They'll take on Clemson in a SEC-ACC matchup. That one's on the ACC network. Auburn hosts Samford tonight at Plainsman Park. Missouri is at home against Missouri State. Alabama on the road in Birmingham against UAB. Vandy hosts Indiana State. Ole Miss is in Jonesboro against Arkansas State. Of course, LSU is in Oxford this weekend against the Rebels. Mississippi State was set to host Southern today, but that game has been canceled due to league protocols, which, as I understand, would be COVID protocols, which I didn't even know that was still a thing, but apparently still is. Arkansas hosts Central Arkansas tonight in Fayetteville. South Carolina is at home against Charleston Southern. And, of course, LSU hosts ULL. There you have it. That is around the SEC. Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them. GCOPnet.com. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you always get at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, and ULL Ragin' Cajuns. Had the Arkansas ring video dropped yesterday on the show? Did you all talk about this on the show?
No, I think it dropped last evening.
Oh, boy. Yeah. For those who didn't see it, Paul, I don't know if you can pull up Arkansas's Twitter, the football Twitter. I'm having trouble with my screen here. For those that didn't see it, Arkansas, the official Razorback football Twitter account, posted a video of their championship ring. The Liberty Bowl championship ring. With the caption, "Icy," with 3 diamonds on it. And, of course, everyone has just annihilated them for this. So, I want to be clear here. I'm not mad at Arkansas for having Liberty Bowl rings. Okay. A lot of people said, you should only have a ring if you win a national championship or this. That's just not the case. Jeremy Hill, who was on our staff, we'd laugh about it because he has an Outback Bowl ring from that 2013 team. Did they beat Iowa?
Yeah.
It was Iowa. It was 14-10. It was a terrible game anyway. A lot of those bowl games, thank you, Paulie, there it is. A lot of those bowl games, as part of the game, they give out rings to the champion. That's part of it. So Arkansas getting rings for winning the Liberty Bowl isn't that big a deal. That's just part of it. Teams get rings. I have no problem whatsoever with that. The problem is the video. Because when you make that video, showing off your Liberty Bowl ring, and you have the caption that says "Icy" with all the diamonds, you're walking right on Twitter. You are walking right into it. Everyone, people behave differently on different platforms, right? On Facebook, if you want to go yell and be angry with old people and be pissed off about politics, you go to Facebook. That's what you do. If you want, mostly people showing too much skin and trying to show off how great their life is, you go to Instagram, right? If you want people just absolutely mocking everything you do, looking to pick a fight and be cynical in nature, you go to Twitter. Why in the world would Arkansas post that video on Twitter? You could say, well, we're posting it for our fans. That's fine. But this is going to be a net negative for you. Because anyone who clicks that and looks at any, I literally quote tweeted, I'm just here for the comments. I just want, I knew it was there. I just wanted to read the comments. Again, Arkansas, I'm not mad at you for having a bowl ring for the Liberty Bowl. I'm sure there are guys that played on the 95 LSU team that got Independence Bowl rings. I'm sure the 97 Independence Bowl team got rings. It's what you do. You get bowl rings. 2010 Cotton Bowl. I know guys on that team that have a Cotton Bowl. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with bowl rings. It's fine. And the video, you kind of get what you deserve on that one, guys. But then again, that's when you're a little tone deaf. It's because you're not used to any success. And then you think, hey, let's post a video at the Liberty Bowl rings.
Not to mention you blew an 18-point lead in that game and ended up in overtime against Kansas.
They won the game against Kansas. They blew the lead. I get it. Very entertaining game.
It was. It was
a very entertaining game. Kansas and Arkansas. Again, for everyone who's commenting, you don't have Liberty Bowl rings. Every bowl gets rings. They all do. So I'm okay with it. Can you imagine going to Will, I got this great idea. Will Stout. Hey, we need you to make us a great idea for a hype video. Liberty Bowl rings. Just doesn't hit the same, does it?
Nah.
Yeah. All right. I got a quick break. I know it's not Whiskey Wednesday. We got a great opportunity for you to win amazing bottles of whiskey. Give you a quick tidbit on that when we come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. You know the best part about Darren? He gets results, all the things to tell you about. He'll sell your home fast. But maybe the most important thing about Darren is that Darren will take all of the stress out of your home buying experience or home selling experience. Here's a 5-star review from Jackie and Mike Burnett, who said, Darren is the best realtor I have ever worked with. He was great representing us. When the builder wanted to delay closing, he was able to get the builder to close by the end of the month. He is always looking out for his clients. Darren takes what is statistically one of the most stressful occurrences in someone's life, moving, and makes it a stress-free, enjoyable process that gets results. So if you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A man with a lengthy criminal history sparked a massive police response at a house where detectives say a lot of drugs are being sold in Baton Rouge. Marijuana, crack, cocaine, and other drugs sold from that location. Now, 2 men facing distribution charges and one is facing obstruction charges after nearly $20,000 in cash was found inside a home. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are wrapping up hour number 1 and glad to have you aboard with us. A year ago, we told you about a great bourbon raffle benefiting Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center, and happy to do it again because it's a pretty incredible haul and it's for a great cause, and I'm more than happy to help spread the word on this. Please be joined by Jenny O'Neill and Erica Kelt. Jenny's helped organizing the raffle, and Erica Kelt is with Mary Bird Perkins. Ladies, thank you so much for the time. Jenny, let me start with you. Can you kind of give us a little bit of the sort of the preamble, how all of this came together and how you've organized this raffle that includes, 100 bottles or so?
Sure. So this is our third year hosting the Bourbon Raffle, and it kind of all started during COVID. I'm a volunteer for Mary Bird, and we were exploring ways to make money or fundraise without in-person events. And we had some friends who were in the bourbon who suggested this great idea, and that's just kind of all how it started. But I don't know, it's taken on a life of its own, and it never ceases to amaze me how generous people are with donating their bottles and the ticket sales and everything else. It's truly amazing.
Jenny, as a bourbon nerd, a self-proclaimed bourbon nerd, bourbon people are insane. So it's not surprising.
I was going to say passionate.
Passionate, insane, tomato, half full, half empty, whatever. But no, but it has lent to a great total. What was the amount raised a year ago?
We raised $107,000 last year and $75,000 the year before.
Incredible.
I know, right?
More than $100,000 in a bourbon raffle. So give us some of the details on. So it's tomorrow, or is it Thursday? Forgive me, I'm looking real quick. It's the 20th today, so Thursday.
So the drawing itself is Thursday, but you have until midnight tomorrow to get your tickets. They are only $20 a piece. We do have a little incentive. If people buy $100 or more, they get entered into our golden ticket drawing. And the winner of that will be able to have first dibs at the prizes before everybody else. And that excludes the top 10. But any of the other prizes, they can snatch up before the actual drawing.
Oh, so wait, hold on. Well, let me understand this. So the golden ticket will be drawn first?
Yes, that's going to be drawn Thursday morning.
So, like when you draw my golden ticket, I can pick any bottle in the whole lineup,
except for the top 10.
Except for the top 10. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic.
And I don't know if you saw, we just added a really cool. It's not an actual bottle, but it's the opportunity to be on a barrel pick with the North Shore Barrel Crew.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Erica, let me bring you in. This is Erica Kelt from Mary Bird Perkins. Erica, most people certainly in the Baton Rouge area, but the state, are familiar with the name Mary Bird Perkins. What is a fundraiser like this that can raise upwards of six figures? What does this mean for Mary Bird Perkins?
So this fundraiser has been truly incredible. Like Jenny said, the money raised all stays local, so it is staying in our community, helping patients and families, removing barriers to care. So if a patient can't afford gas to get to treatment, and some patients come every day for radiation treatment for 5 or 6 weeks, and that's a lot of back and forth. So we'll give them gas cards, or we'll schedule rides for them to make sure that they are able to complete their treatment. We'll help with expensive nutritional supplements, offsetting medical costs, or procedures like dental extractions that may be required for treatment. So things that insurance doesn't cover, we help remove those barriers. And then funds also go to help put on our free community screening. So we go out into communities and partner with grocery stores, pharmacies, different places like that where people are already going. And we offer our free cancer screenings to help detect cancer earlier. So a fundraiser like this is truly helping change lives and save lives in our community.
We're a little short on time, but Erica, can you put some context behind that? How the number of patients that maybe come through Mary Bird Perkins in a year? I know that it's just the exponential level it's grown just in my lifetime is amazing.
So I wouldn't have an exact number for you to share. Of course, we're a regional nonprofit, so we have cancer centers across the area. And I'm in Covington and Hammond, so I have a little bit more familiarity with that. But Mary Bird has definitely grown over the years and continues to grow. So that would be a great number to look at, kind of where it's come, the past 3 years that we've had this raffle.
Right. So even though we're sitting here in Baton Rouge, you're there on the North Shore, and really regionally, this will affect so many people. So if you can, if you love bourbon, know somebody does, great opportunity to buy your tickets. Jenny, jump back in if you would. Tell people how they get their tickets. What's the best way to do it?
So the easiest way is to text the word Bourbon Raffle with the numbers 23 at the end, Bourbon Raffle 23, to 41444. That's going to send you a link directly to the raffle page. You can see prizes, and get your ticket.
So, again, we're texting the word Bourbon Raffle 23, Bourbon Raffle 23 to the numbers 41444. That's 41444. Text Bourbon Raffle 23 to 41444. I assume you'll get a link right back, and that's how you can buy. It's also, you can go to the Bourbon Raffle for Mary Ware Perkins Facebook page, which will send you to the link to purchase as well. So lots of ways you could do it. Ladies, appreciate so much. Look, congratulations on building a. I think they might have dropped. Did they drop? Okay. Congratulations on a great event. If you can contribute, it's an awesome thing. So whatever you can do, happy to help promote it. And of course, I'm a total whiskey nerd, so I mean it's an awesome bottle lineup. So that alone is incentive enough to jump in the raffle. Okay, top of the hour break. When we come back, little Saints mock draft roundup. Stick around with us here. We'll get to hour 2 of AFR next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020, 924-2020. I love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center. And every day, whenever I say this message in particular, when I talk about changing lives, I love the text messages I get to the show text line, or the tweets I'll get, or the Facebook messages from people saying, man, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, couldn't see, did LASIK years ago, best decision I ever made. It's truly life-changing. When I did my LASIK, I remember when Dr. Blake did my LASIK, when we were finished, sat up on a table, and you've probably seen videos of this, but you sit up on the table, there's a clock across the room, and they say, can you read the clock? And you will literally see people break down and start, like, weeping because it's just the first time you've ever been able to see. It's life-changing. If you wear contacts or glasses, there's a way to live without them affordably. The Williamson Eye Center can help. Just go for that consultation. 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. That's Williamson, EYE.com.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Not only did she tell us, but this young lady, stand up. And this young lady
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCoRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A declaration today from Bills safety Damar Hamlin that he's ready to resume playing football. Hamlin spoke at a news conference at the team's facility for the first time since going into cardiac arrest during a game January 2nd. He said the event was life-changing, but is not the end of his story. His heart's still in the game. Hamlin's gotten full clearance from 3 specialists that he can resume playing without fear of setbacks or complications, explains Buffalo GM Brandon Beane.
They're all in lockstep of what this was, and that he is cleared, resumed full activities just like anyone else who was coming back from an injury or whatever. So he's fully cleared, he's here, and he is of the mindset, he's in a great headspace to come back and make his return.
From ESPN's Tim McManus, Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts had minor surgery on his right ankle this offseason. He will be a full participant in Philly's offseason program. NBA playoffs, Bucks power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo did not practice today due to a back contusion. Team optimistic about his status for Game 2 tomorrow against the Heat. Yankees manager Aaron Boone said today Giancarlo Stanton's likely out 6 weeks with a strained hamstring.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Chat with Feinswog. Been a minute. That's coming up in about 15 minutes from right now. 1 hour from right now. Carlos Stewart will be with us. Made it official today, and LSU has announced it. Carlos Stewart, who prepped at Dunham, spent the last 2 years at Santa Clara, averaged 15 points per game this year at Santa Clara. He is transferring home to finish his college career at LSU. 24 games in double figures this last year at Santa Clara. 11 of those where he scored more than 20. Had a big-time breakout game against Gonzaga. He's a 6'1 guard, so not overly tall, but, man, he can fill it up, and he can get a shot from anywhere. So that is a massive get. Matt McMahon has completely transformed his backcourt. And, adding Jordan Wright, obviously a veteran player who's been in the SEC for 4 years, Jalen Cook, who was all conference at Tulane, and now you add a guy like Carlos Stewart, who is and I will tell you, some of the NIL conversations that were had around Carlos Stewart, it ain't like LSU's offer. And again, I feel like I always have to throw this out there because it's semantics, but of course the school can't formally offer something as a pay-for-play, right? But what the NIL opportunities were at LSU relative to, namely, Texas A&M, were not comparable. So this is a guy you could tell is coming to play at LSU for reasons more than where was my best NIL opportunity this year? So I'm looking forward. Carlos Stewart's going to be with us in 1 hour. So excited to have Carlos jump on the show with us, talk about his decision to come back to Baton Rouge, to play for Matt McMahon, to wear the purple and gold. We'll get into all that, and I'm excited about it. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for being here with us today. We are 9 days away from the NFL draft, from round one. I love the draft. I'm a draft junkie. It hurts my soul that our guy Mike Detillier isn't with us anymore. Well, let me rephrase. Let me rephrase it. Mike Detillier is not with us on the show anymore. Okay, Mike Detillier, very much alive, very much doing well. But of course, Mike, was, for 11 years, every Thursday, Mike was on the show for a full hour. And of course, the M&D draft report that Mike pumped out for more than 20 years was a staple for me. Once I had the M&D draft report for the first time, I never watched a draft again without it. I love the draft. I love the thought of the diamond in the rough. I love the thought of changing your franchise with one pick like the Bengals did with Joe Burrow. I love the idea of a round 3 trade that nets you Alvin Kamara, right? I just love the draft. So a week from Thursday, our 104.5 ESPN draft party is over at Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented by Rouse's. We'll be at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Hopefully you come join us for round 1 of the draft. If you can't be there, no worries. You can watch us on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. And we've talked so much about the draft. And sometimes when you get closer to the draft, what you start to see are Vegas odds moving. And it's because when you get this close to the draft, there's just enough out there. Like right now, Bryce Young is, I think, minus 1,200 or something like that to be the number 1 overall pick. Bryce Young is going to be the number 1 overall pick. And I can kind of kick myself in the tail for not making a bet on that about 6 weeks ago when I was told by someone at the Combine that C.J. Stroud's people were told Bryce Young was going to be the number 1 pick. But my point is, when you get closer to the draft and there's a larger sample size of Combine, pro days, one-on-one meetings, team visits, right? Each team can host 30 prospects on visits, on pre-draft visits. You start to learn, because it's not just teams, and front office executives, but agents of all the players themselves, coaches, that all have people they talk to. And when all these different people start saying the same thing, that's how you start to sort of crystallize where the truths are and what's the smoke and mirrors, right? What's the gamesmanship being played? And so whenever you get this close to the draft, a lot of times mock drafts will tell you, like, everybody mock draft right now has Bryce Young going number 1 overall, because everybody knows Bryce Young is going number 1 to Carolina. The bigger question right now, if you haven't noticed, but Will Levis's odds to be the number 2 pick have skyrocketed, because apparently Houston loves Bryce Young, maybe not as in love with C.J. Stroud. So if Young goes number 1, does Houston trade back, or do they take Will Levis? It's an interesting question that could transpire on draft night. We'll find all that out as the draft comes and goes. But as it pertains to the Saints, what is crystallizing right now is, barring an unimaginable value at 29, the Saints are going to take a defensive tackle or a defensive lineman. Today, Mel Kiper and Todd McShay did a mock draft for the first 3 rounds where they alternated picks, right? So Kiper picked number 1, McShay picked 2, Kiper 3, McShay 4, you get it. And they just, alternated selections. Mel Kiper picked for the Saints at 29, and as the Saints taken Brian Bresee out of Clemson, the defensive tackle. And that's no surprise. Both he and McShay have mocked Bresee to the Saints in their most recent mock drafts. So that shouldn't be a surprise. McShay picked for the Saints at 40. He had him taking Luke Musgrave, the tight end out of Oregon State. And then Kiper made the 3rd-round selection for the Saints, number 71, has the Saints taking A.T. Perry, the wide receiver out of Wake Forest. for me, and I'll say this again, as long as 29 is a defensive tackle, I don't care what they do at 40 and 71 or anywhere else. I'm not going to say altogether I don't care. But my point is, there are so many needs on this team. And it's the nature of missing the playoffs 2 consecutive years, coming off a losing season where you were 22nd in the NFL against the run. Your offense was abysmal for much of the season. You have needs everywhere. You're probably going to need a replacement for Andrews Pete. You certainly need help at tight end. You're going to need to draft Alvin Kamara's replacement. I love Chris Olave, but after that, what is a realistic expectation for Michael Thomas? You're not re-signing Jarvis Landry. Is Rashid Shaheed really a 17-week contributor at wide receiver? Don't know. So I'll take a receiver. You need defensive tackles. You need edge rushers. I could take a linebacker. I could take a safety. My point is, wherever they elect to go, whatever the best available is after that, I'm good. The absolute undeniable must is an interior defensive lineman, because right now you got 2 that you count on. 2 that you signed in free agency, and that's really it. So you cannot go into this NFL season without adding interior defensive linemen, plural, to this roster. So do it at 29 and get the best one available. Maybe that's Brian Breesy. So I mentioned, sort of that's starting to crystallize. If you look at mock draft roundups, this is a mock draft roundup that I just Googled it, and this one popped up over at Canal Street Chronicles. Ryan Wilson of CBS Sports had the Saints taking Keon White, a defensive lineman out of Georgia Tech. Will Brinson of CBS has the Saints taking Will McDonald, the edge out of Iowa State. Again, defensive lineman. Bucky Brooks has the Saints taking Michael Mayer. Mike Tannenbaum has the Saints taking Jordan Addison. But there's Brad Spielberger from Pro Football Focus. Miles Murphy, edge out of Clemson, defensive line, of course. Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, each have the Saints taking Brian Breesy. It's a consensus. I mean, everybody is mocking a defensive lineman to the Saints at 29, and quite honestly, I can't imagine them doing anything other than picking an interior defensive player at 29 and then letting the draft figure out the rest of the way it is. Talked about it last week. Did the Saints draft need or value? And the answer is value, unless there is a massive glaring, flashing light need, like whenever they drafted Eric McCoy. Max Unger suddenly retired. They had to get a center. They drafted Eric McCoy. I mean, you have a giant red flashing light need at defensive tackle. It's what they got to do at 29. We'll find out for sure a week from Thursday. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Remember, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, we're getting close to graduation season. Maybe you're buying that vehicle for that grad in your family. You want something that's stylish, that's affordable, that they're going to love, that your wallet's going to love, that you're also going to feel really comfortable because they're safe in it. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. If you have never considered a Volkswagen, if you've never driven a Volkswagen, I cannot recommend it highly enough. My whole family have all become converts. I drive a Volkswagen. Erica drives a Volkswagen. My dad, my mom, my cousin Steven, my godparents just bought a Volkswagen. We are Volkswagen people now. Just test drive one and experience the difference. South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, y'all. We'll let you hear from LSU Special Teams Coordinator John Jancic at the bottom of the hour. When we come back, been a minute, but we'll talk to Feinswog next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Baseball at the Box returns tonight. Need a place to watch or to grab a bite before or after the game? Pluckers is always a great spot. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Every Tuesday, kids eat free. So, you want to get the family out, go watch the game, have a bite, do it affordably. You can get to either Pluckers location. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. If you're going to the game tonight with LSU and the Cajuns, look, go eat at Pluckers before you go to the game. 6:30 first pitch, get off of work, go to Pluckers, grab a bite to eat, maybe drink a few cold ones, head to the game, watch the Tigers whip a little Cajun tail, or maybe you can eat at Pluckers after the game tonight. That's at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. If you need a place to watch the game, every single LSU baseball game all season long, they'll have it on TV in spectacular high definition at Pluckers. It's award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV, pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP, plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back. Join us on Saturday, April 22nd at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner. Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It has been a minute. Lee, how are you?
I'm good, Matt. It has been a while.
Did you really meet a Port Allenite last week in the Boston airport who recognized your voice?
I did. Our flight from Boston to New Orleans, which was supposed to take off at 11 and took off at around 4. So we had a lot of time to get to know each other. But this guy was sitting across from me, and he said to me, "I really like your beer stuff on Moscona."
Yeah.
And I said,
"See?"
I said, "That's interesting." And then we introduced ourselves, and we talked beer and little sports, and since we were in Boston, it was wicked good.
Do you think people know you more from your long, distinguished career as a journalist, or as the guy who comes on here, talks nonsense, and hawks beer every Tuesday?
Oh, no doubt the latter. You have way more listeners than I ever did, viewers or readers. Now, back in the day, and I would say this, when pre-internet, when I was at the Advocate, and I'm sure other newspaper reporters would tell you the same thing, there were, we were like the only show in town. You wanted to know what was going on, you read the newspaper.
Right.
Period. That was it. So that was, you were a much bigger deal then. Now, if you're a newspaper guy, you're competing and I hope the newspaper sports writers are still the most popular, but you're competing with a zillion different outlets who are all covering, whether it's the university in the town you're in or the pro team, and everybody thinks they can do it. Oh, I'll start a website. I can do a little video on the iPhone. There you go. So it was big.
Some people can, not everyone.
Yeah,
can.
no doubt. And it was good. And the newspaper's still the most important thing in the community, no doubt. Pretty important. Somebody's got to hold the public officials and the coaches and the administrators and all up and down to task and be able to report on things. And the ones who are doing it the best on a local level are the ones that are surviving the best. That's just a fact.
That I could agree with. Unfortunately, there's just not as much commitment everywhere to do it at a very high level. I'm not pointing fingers or anything. Just saying everywhere. Just universal.
Oh no, the resources have been cut terribly. Hedge funds have bought newspapers for the sole purpose of dumbing them down, trimming the staff, and then selling them. And that's happened all over with big papers, small papers. It's hard. Yeah. And any community's better if it has a good, strong local media, both newspaper, television, and in your case, radio.
We did not get to speak. I know there's one thing in particular that I want to ask you about, and it actually beautifully dovetails because at the time that you were a reporter in this town, there was minor league hockey, and that's come back around, which I want to get to. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask you your thoughts on Kim Mulkey and the LSU women's basketball team winning a national championship in her second season.
Right before their first game, and she was asked in the press conference, how did this happen? And she honestly said, the transfer portal. So that was the true, honest answer, because it's just a whole different world that you could have players come in who are so good. And, the one thing that they probably don't get enough credit for, that coaching staff, is how good some of those players who did come in became. They became way, way better.
Well said.
If you look at Reese's numbers, and she played for a great coach in Maryland, and Brenda Fries, who I think is a fantastic coach, but she came here and her numbers went up by like 40% scoring and rebounding on a team with, a lot of good players on it. So there was that part. The only thing that was really a shame was it was too bad that at the end of the game, the two stars who can be the two stars in the face of women's college basketball next year didn't acknowledge each other in a positive way. And could have gone over, hugged each other, talked, and acknowledged that they both raised the level of the sport and brought awareness to it in a critical time. And that was a shame, because I think we all like that. On the other hand, people go, oh, well, maybe we've got a couple of villains that'll bring more awareness to the sport next year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. But that's not what I personally wish would have happened.
So I do understand your perspective, and I can respect it. But I am on the opposite side of that, Lee, in the sense that the conversation around women's college basketball continued for a week plus because of the antics, for lack of a better phrase. And there is nothing, literally nothing. I mean, zero that could have been done on a women's basketball floor in game that would have brought as much attention as the post-game antics. Period.
No doubt. And good, bad, or indifferent, that's the case.
Yeah.
The key will be that if not only women's basketball, but other Olympic sports and other women's sports are able to capitalize on this and move forward and make it better for themselves, not just in the next season, but for all time. More TV exposure. They benefited greatly by ESPN and Disney deciding it was important. So they played them on ABC in the middle of Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
What ESPN decides and ABC and Disney decide is very important. And that was a big, big thing. But, next year is an Olympic year. If the USA women win the Olympic gold medal and they have let's say next spring there's another good NCAA tournament, and then the USA women win the gold medal, and if they don't capitalize that and keep growing it bigger and better, then shame on them. And that's not unique to just women's basketball. All women's sports have an opportunity to grow off of what they did. It can't hurt.
Lee Feinswog is our guest, the longtime host of Sports Monday here in Baton Rouge. And
Or Sports 225.
Were you not the longtime host of Sports Monday?
I was. The combination of the two, we're finishing up 28 years.
That's a lot of years.
Believe.
A lot of years.
Yeah. A lot of years.
28 years ago, I had hair.
You did. You might even had hair 10 years ago.
Let's see. Well, okay, so it really depends on what you define as having hair. Right? Like, did I have some hair? Yes. But I very much began balding when I was 24 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, no. I miss it. I miss my hair. Okay. I want to talk to you about hockey, which I cannot believe those words just came out of my mouth because I don't care about hockey. Everyone's like, it's the best postseason in NHL, blah. I don't care. Don't care. Don't like it. Don't watch. I have watched before. Don't care. But Baton Rouge is getting a minor league hockey team. You were around covering things of this nature when the Baton Rouge Kingfish had a run for, I think, 7 seasons, nearly a decade. Is this a good thing that minor league hockey's coming back to BR?
Well, again, it couldn't hurt. But do you remember what a phenomenon that was when you had the Baton Rouge Kingfish and the Louisiana Ice Skaters, and they were literally selling out?
Yes.
It was happening. It was crazy.
Remember, you had the New Orleans Brass as well. So you had the Atchafalaya Cup.
You had the I-10 corridor. You had Pensacola had a team. Mobile had a team. Jacksonville had a team. Everybody just hopped on I-10. And it was truly amazing.
Yeah.
But so the guy who owns the team that's coming here that hasn't been named yet, his name is Barry Soskin.
Okay.
And Barry Soskin also owns a team in Winston-Salem called the Carolina Thunderbirds. And Matt, I played for the Carolina Thunderbirds.
Oh, is that when you were goalie for a game?
Correct.
No way!
So,
hey,
yes,
man, I think
and
we have
I
a
didn't.
picture of this, don't we? Didn't you send me a picture of this at some point?
Oh gosh, it's possible. You know, I have the article framed on my wall in my office, and you'd seen it.
Now I need to find this thing. I wish you had told me that was your story. I would have found the picture.
Well, in 1983, and I don't know that I have any of the pictures anywhere other than in the frame, so that's possible that you don't. But in 1983, I was a desk man at the Winston-Salem Journal, and they let me out to cover some stories. And one of the things I got to do was cover the minor league hockey team, which was first the Winston-Salem Thunderbirds and the Carolina Thunderbirds. And the owner was a guy named Rick Dudley, who'd been an NHL player and coach. And it was truly right out of Slapshot. And Slapshot, the movie, if you've never seen it, which came out in the late 70s, it was to hockey what like Caddyshack was to golf. I mean, hockey, they quoted it all the time. The guys did on the team. And I said to Dudley one day, we were sitting there doing an interview, and I said, it'd be a cool story. He says, what? I said, if I got to play goalie for you. He goes, yeah, that'd be good. He goes, can you skate? And I said, no. And he said, well, that could be a problem. And I said, well, can I learn? So there was this is remarkable. So there's a guy named Billy Morris, who was from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, who had played with Wayne Gretzky, was an assistant coach. And Billy said, I'll teach him, because I knew Billy outside of the hockey. Billy said, I'll teach him. I'll get him going. And there was a goalie named Jim Warden who had gone to Michigan Tech and had been on our national team, who was the only guy who happened to be my size and had my size skates. So after they would practice, I would take Jim Warden's gross stuff, this is true, and his skates, suit up, and Billy Morris taught me how to skate, how to take shots. I mean, I played goalie in soccer and water polo, but because I understood angles and had reflexes. But the idea of doing this was absurd, and I was absolutely petrified. So the night we designated this night for a game, and with 6 minutes and 1 second to go, we scored a goal to go up something like 6-2. The lead was insurmountable, and Dudley looks down the bench and points to me and says, "Go." And I grab the stick and I skate out. I skate out there, and I got to tell you, Matt, I've done a lot of stupid stuff in my life, as most humans have, and I've never been more scared ever.
Yeah.
To this day. So here's the thing I remember: I was getting in the goal, and I'd had this horrible cold for days and days. I couldn't breathe. You know how you breathe through your mouth and your nose is just so stuffed up.
Yeah.
Standing there waiting, and the adrenaline was so strong that my nostrils were so clear that they burned. And I can still remember that feeling and going, oh my God, defense, come on, you guys, you got to do this. You got to do this. So the long story is in 6 minutes and 1 second, I made 3 saves. One was off a long slap shot because I just knew the guy. They knew. The other team, even though they weren't told, they knew this was a clown in the goal. And he took the shot, and I made the save. And then I dove out, literally went out and dived and broke up a 2-on-1, which afterwards, the French-Canadian guys, remember that they just were just besides themselves talking about it in the locker room. And I made another save. So I have the greatest goals against in the history of minor league hockey. And Barry Soskin, the owner of that team, probably has no idea because he wasn't around there 40 years ago. But whenever they've had this minor league hockey in this part of the world, I always thought it was really interesting. And, very few people know this story, of course, and you did because you'd read the story. We talked about it. So the next year we moved to Baton Rouge in 1984. And Stacy, my daughter, was a little girl, and we went to the Galleria in Houston.
Okay.
And we're going to go get skates. And I hadn't been on skates since, and I didn't know if I could even skate again. I mean, I was so limited to begin with. And we're getting the skates, and she looks up, the little kid looks up at the guy and goes, "My dad played pro hockey." And I grabbed her and I said, "Don't you ever say that again in front of anybody in a place like this." And, we went out there, and luckily I didn't fall down. I haven't been on ice skates since, not one time. And I was never good at balance sports anyway, skiing, surfing, any of that stuff, so much as ice skating.
Oh, my God.
So there's your
how did nobody score a goal against you? That's
because
it's embarrassing that nobody scored a goal against you.
Because I'm a big person, and they give you a stick and a blocking pad, and I practiced for a month, and I knew what to do if they shot the puck at me. It wasn't, even a blind squirrel can stand there and, find the acorn, and that's, they shot it. The 2 shots I made saves on, and the one I dived out on. A couple of shots went by, and I probably didn't even see him, and you heard him come off the boards. It's an incredible. What they do on ice skates is just unbelievable. I wrote a story one year for a hockey magazine, interviewed a guy named Clark Gillies who played for the Islanders, but he played minor league baseball. And he said to me, he goes, "They always say hitting a baseball is the hardest thing in sports." He said, "We've all played baseball. I played minor league baseball. We do what we do on hockey skates." And I said, "It's a good point." And it's really phenomenal. So with that in mind, maybe you can give a little bit of never mind to the NHL playoffs just because. And remember, the Stanley Cup gets hoisted. It gets hoisted, Matt, not lifted.
Hoisted.
Nobody else gets to hoist. You hoist the Stanley Cup.
Hoist the Stanley Cup. Greatest postseason trophy for the worst postseason event. The Stanley Cup. Which is a weird contrast in the World Cup, which is the greatest event in the world, right? That the whole world pays attention to.
Little trophy.
And the trophy sucks. It's always perplexed me. That's always been perplexing. But either way, whenever a team wins, no doubt, its patrons, its fans, in celebration, raise a frosty glass of beer. Or a pint. A pint.
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer. Beer.
All right. Take it away.
Well, it's funny that you said frosty glass because last week I was in Boston.
Ooh.
And this is not a beer we can buy locally, but I want to tell this story because those of you who are really aficionados may have heard of Heady Topper by Alchemist in Stowe, Vermont. And I had heard about this beer, this IPA. People, I mean, they drop to one knee when they talk about it. You can go there and buy a 4-pack for $13. Limit 18 4-packs per person.
Oh.
Price includes deposit. American Double IPA, 8% alcohol. As they say, the beer that started all of this madness, meant to saturate your senses with the flavors and aromas of dank cannabis. I got to tell you, this is the greatest IPA, the greatest ale I have. I mean, it's just nectar. It is nectar. I can't believe I've never had it for all the times I've been up in New England. And the next time I go, I mean, I'm going to Stowe, Vermont to go buy some just to have. This is just so good. If you go on any of the review things like Beer Advocate and other places like that, it's like you could tell these guys were typing these reviews with tears in their eyes. Heady Topper. And here's the best part. If you click on the site for Heady Topper, you get a video from their guy, John Kimmich, who explains to you why you should be drinking this beer out of a can. So it goes directly from the can to your mouth, isn't affected by oxygen. If you do drink it out of a glass, he tells you how you should do it, because this is what he thinks, and the guy is obviously quite serious. And Matt, heady topper, you can see. I know if you have a picture of it. What a cool cover, right? But I'm telling you, this. You asked me when we started this 6-7 years ago. The first question you asked me how we got into this segment. You said, "What's the best beer you've ever had?" And I gave you the answer that it depends on what you drink and where. Remember, and you go, "Oh, come on, just tell me a beer." And I have to tell you, this is up there in the top few. This is something else. Heady Topper by The Alchemist out of Stowe, Vermont. And if any of you go to New England in the near future, it's worth it. And you can buy 18 4-packs at $13 a pop.
You should have called me. I'd have Venmo'd you some cash, and you could have brought me some. That'd have been great.
I did not get this at the brewery.
Okay.
I had it somewhere else.
When you said cannabis, Muso's head just popped right up like a little boll weed over his. You said cannabis. He was like, "Huh? Weed? Someone said weed? All right, thanks, Lee. Great to talk.
Matt, thank you, and go to sports225.com for all the gore details.
And volleyballmag.com.
Thank you.
Ding. Had to get the ding. All right, thanks, Lee. We'll talk again next week. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Traction. I was over at Traction earlier today. Got to work out in with my guy, Young Tev. Listen, man, no matter what you want to be, I know a lot of you mainly hear Traction and think, oh, that's sort of the youth baseball leagues. Yes, Traction is youth baseball leagues. Yes, they are that, and they do that better than anyone. But there's so much more. If you're an athlete, and no matter what sport, if your son or daughter plays volleyball, football, baseball, runs track, swims, tennis, lacrosse, if they want to be the biggest, strongest, best version of themselves with the best performance training, skill training, you can get it at Traction. They got small group training, which has memberships available. Learn more at TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. And maybe you're an ancient athlete who wants to get back in the game. Maybe you like to swim for leisure or run for leisure. Or maybe you play ancient athletes or you're in a weekend softball league or you love to golf, but that injury is taking you away. Traction Physical Therapy will get you back in the game. Remember, go to TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. Okay, y'all, quick break. We're a little late. I apologize for that. Muse will have Tigers in the pros in about 15 minutes from right now. When we come back, new LSU Special Teams Coordinator John Jancic met with the media today. A little bit of how he is planning to rework the LSU Special Teams room. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, and my goodness, when you walk outside and you see a crystal clear, beautiful blue sky spring day in Louisiana, and you think, my goodness, is this just a sun-kissed, God-given day? And this is the best day to go to Clegg's Nursery. To pull up to any of the 4 locations, to shop for those flowers, the plants, the pop of color, the greenery that you want to beautify your outdoor spaces, to make it your own virtual oasis. Clegg's can help you do that. As your lawn is starting to come back to life this spring, you may notice there's some brown spots or some weed grass. Not sure what to do? No worries. Clegg's has all of the knowledge, the know-how, the products to get your lawn looking plush and beautiful this spring. Clegg's Nursery. Seagoneer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Mosquitoes or other critters bothering you, they can help with that as well. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Waffle.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
The most valuable player probably that is the unsung hero through the entire playoffs, LaDacia Williams. All my exes live in Texas.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along. Gonna have a little bit of a quicker segment here. Got to make sure we leave time for Tigers and the pros. Carlos Stewart in 20 minutes. Today, LSU basketball made it official. Carlos Stewart, Baton Rouge native, went to Dunham last 2 years at Santa Clara. He is now an LSU basketball Tiger. Paperwork is official, so we'll talk to Carlos Stewart about his decision 20 minutes from right now. Today, on Tuesday, John Jancic met with reporters after practice. And as we know, John Jancic, of course, is LSU's new special teams coordinator and outside linebackers coach. I've talked about John a bunch. I mean, this dude has a huge litany of experience. DC at places like Tennessee and Cincinnati and Colorado State. He's been everywhere. I mean, he's been in the SEC. He was at Georgia on Kirby's staff when Brian Kelly got the job and hired him over last year as an analyst and now is in an on-field role. Just a huge asset. A guy with this amount of experience on your staff is massive. The interesting thing is John Jancic has never been a special teams coordinator before. So he's going to have this dual role as the special teams coordinator and coach outside linebackers. But for the purpose of this conversation, kind of want to focus on special teams because that was LSU's bugaboo a year ago. It was not even a question, the worst part of the team. All three phases, in the third phase in special teams, LSU was flatly bad. They didn't cover kicks, they didn't return kicks, they muffed punts, they fumbled punts. They muffed kicks, it was bad. They allowed returns. It was just they missed kicks, got kicks blocked. We all know there were untimely penalties. It was just bad. They were disorganized, mismatched, and bad on special teams a year ago. So how do they fix it? First of all, here's John Jancic on what they're going to do as far as splitting all the duties on special teams.
Every player has a coach assigned to their spot. As an example, on our punt team, the left side is really my son Zach works with the left side. On the right side, it's Nick Coleman, and Coach Herb is on the left side. Making sure everything's organized and all that. So it's been great. Coach Wilson helps us with our shields. So that's kind of how we've divvied everything up. We've just really taken and assigned coaches to each area of our special teams. So it's been really good, been really productive. I think the kids are bought in and doing a great job.
Ultimately, the proof is going to be in the pudding. There's an argument to be made to go, when you go that specialized, that's great because every single detail is considered. The other part of that is, are you too fragmented to where you're not working as a contiguous group? It's fair to ask. We won't know. Again, I don't have an answer for you. I love to give you opinions. It's what I sit here and do every day. My opinion is I'm very surprised Brian Kelly did not hire a special teams coordinator, someone who had done this before. But I want to be optimistic because you have a veteran coach here who has been around football at the highest level for his entire professional life and will know how to structure this stuff to get it organized. Now, Jancic, as you would expect, is optimistic about the progress they're making.
Oh, I'm very confident. I think we've made great strides. I think, we tweaked a few things, but not a lot. And really, it's not about what we did. It's about how we did it. And that's been our emphasis. And I think the players have responded very well. And I like the effort. I like the finish. And that's a big part of special teams. You got to have guys out there that do the little things right. They have attention to detail, but they strain and they finish.
Not what we did, but how we did it. It's interesting. I give this example from time to time. Look at the muffed kickoff against Tennessee, the opening kickoff of the game. Should Jack Bech have caught that ball? Yes. However, if you're looking at the all-22, Jack Bech started on the right side of the field. They very quickly recognized that Tennessee was about to kick to the other side, so the coaches are signaling to Bech at kickoff of the game to run to the other side. So Bech, who's on the right side of the field, runs straight across to the left side of the field, and Tennessee sky kicked it, so then Bech had to run up about 20 yards. Should he have caught the ball? Yes. But he also ran 70 yards before while running directly into that kick. So if that were scouted better, you have an up back right there. It wasn't scouted better. So not what you did, but how you did it. So some of that makes sense the way he described it. Speaking of returners, he was asked about who's working on returning kicks and punts.
We got a variety of guys back there. We're catching a lot of punts, catching kickoffs. We put in some kickoff stuff today. It's an ongoing evaluation, but we feel good with the guys that we have back there. We have Greg, and then Kyle Parker's back there, Sage Ryan, Noah Kane. So there's a number of guys that are getting the work and the amount of reps that they need to get, so that we have a comfort level as punt returners and kick returners.
He was asked specifically, by the way, about Aaron Anderson. He said absolutely. He's just been injured. So Aaron Anderson, the Alabama transfer, is going to figure in. Like game one against Florida State, he's going to be returning kicks for LSU. So Aaron Anderson will be another big part of that. And one more, John Jancic talking about his relationship with Brian Kelly, which, keep in mind, Jancic played at Grand Valley State from 86 to 90 and got his start in coaching as a GA at Grand Valley State. They've been together. This is a long-standing friendship and relationship, not just with John Jancic and Brian Kelly, but their families as well. So to that end, they're very close.
Well, I've known Coach Kelly all most of my adult life. I actually played for him when I was in college. And I think there's just a trust there for me with Coach Kelly. When he says something, I know he means it. He's going to do it. When I get in my car and I go home at night, I feel good about what's taking place here. There's no surprises. There's no drama. If he doesn't like something, he comes to you and he tells you, and you fix it, right? And just that comfort level for me, being with him in the past and knowing his style and what his expectations are, I feel are aligned perfectly with what I believe in college athletics, and something that I'm very comfortable with.
John Jancic, LSU's new special teams coordinator. Got to fix it. You fix that third phase, you're going to be tough to handle this year. All right, Muse will wrap up with Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. That's where you can find them at 1hourbr.com. Running out of time for the preseason AC tune-up. I tell you about it every day, but make sure you have your Home Central AC clean, tuned up, running efficiently for the warm weather months. You want to make sure that all of that is running soundly and efficiently to extend the life of your unit. It's very similar to like an oil change for your car. I use that analogy because it matters. You got to make sure that your home central AC is clean and efficient because it's going to be sitting outside in 100-degree temperatures, never getting a break. Make sure that thing lasts. River City's 1-hour air can help. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $25 off the price of that repair. It's River City's 1-hour air, 752-0001.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2, Carlos Stewart in less than 10 minutes from right now. Right now, Musso as Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Sheesh, it was a night that Kevin Gausman would like to forget in Houston.
Why do you hate Kevin Gausman?
I don't hate Kevin Gausman.
Could have fooled me.
The question is, why do the Astros hate Kevin Gausman? 4 2/3.
I think they love Kevin Gausman.
That's actually a good point. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 8 runs, 7 of them earned. Gave up a 7 spot in the first inning. Would settle in, though. Get through at least 4 2/3. Save some bullpen there. 2 walks, 5 punch outs for Gausman. He'll flush that one and be back, no doubt. Alex Bregman was part of it. He went 1 for 4 last night and drew a walk. Still trying to climb over the Mendoza line, that Alex Bregman. He'll get there, no doubt. Austin Nola. 1
for 3 last night, and the Padres lost to Paulie's Braves. It was a double, his second of the season. Nola off to a bit of a slow start here, hitting 154 early on in the Major League season.
Hater?
No. Big Austin Nola fan, as a matter of fact. Zurich Classic of New Orleans.
Give me one, Muse. Give me one. Give me one.
One what?
You know, Austin Nola. Go ahead. Give me one.
Nah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Nope, it's your shtick. I can't infringe on it.
Sure, I'll let you do it just this once.
I'm going to have to pass on that. Gonna have to pass on that.
You're a hater. What can we say?
Zurich Classic of New Orleans gets underway on Thursday. We have tee times. Sam Burns and his partner Billy Horschel. They'll go off at 7:39 a.m. Central Daylight Time on Thursday. Second Tiger in the field is Ben Taylor. Ben Taylor is paired up with Callum Tarrant. They will go off, or I should say teaming with Callum Tarrant. They will go off at 1:36 p.m. Central Daylight Time. That's Tigers in the pros.
Why do you hate Curtis Thompson?
He's not in the field. I looked. He's not in the field because he has been before.
Is he not playing somewhere else this weekend?
I don't think we have Corn Ferry tee times yet, Matt.
Sounds like you hate Curtis Thompson.
Let's see. Nope, no tee times yet.
Just not willing to do any leg work.
We'll do that tomorrow for Curtis.
You don't love Curtis Thompson. But if you did and you were going to propose to him, you should go to Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry to get that diamond. Not you specifically, but just in general, if someone were going to love someone and propose to them and you were going to buy an exquisite diamond ring, an engagement ring, there's no better place to go than the place Baton Rouge has gone to get engaged for more than 30 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, 2 locations in Baton Rouge and online, lmfj.com. Carlos Stewart joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. You know, I guess I'll acknowledge this. Eating a bag of gummy worms. I love gummy worms. And when you go to open that bag, or really, it doesn't have to be gummy worm. It could be anything. You know, you go to open it, it takes a certain amount of force to open that bag, right? Well, there's a machine that had to calibrate that seal to make sure the force was such that you could open it reasonably or whatever the case may be. Well, that machine has to be calibrated properly to make sure that all of that is working as it should. And that's true for anything. Opening a soft drink or cold drink or whatever it may be. Or literally anything else. Michelli calibrates all those devices. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. No matter what industry it is, if you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent, and calibrate the products you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, from sea to shining sea. Online, Michelli.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A man with a lengthy criminal history sparked a massive police response at a house where detectives say a lot of drugs are being sold in Baton Rouge. Marijuana, crack, cocaine, and other drugs sold from that location. Now, 2 men facing distribution charges, and 1 is facing obstruction charges after nearly $20,000 in cash was found inside a home. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back. Join us on Saturday, April 22nd at the Oshner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks, Jambalaya Showdown, presented by Oshner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bill safety Damar Hamlin's gotten the green light to resume his NFL career, and he plans on doing just that. Hamlin told reporters his heart's still in the game, and what happened in Cincinnati on January 2nd when he went into cardiac arrest is not the end of his story. Specialists have cleared him to resume playing without any fear of setbacks or complications. Where Hamlin is today is no surprise to teammate quarterback Josh Allen.
Never going to doubt a guy like that who's had a lot of adversity in his life, and he's continued to find ways, and this is just another obstacle that he's been able to get around and push forward, and super excited for him, super excited for our team. He's a heck of a football player, and we love having him back.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts had minor ankle surgery this offseason, reports ESPN's Tim McManus. He'll be a full participant in the Eagles offseason program when it begins next week. NBA playoffs, Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo did not practice today due to a back contusion. The team is optimistic about his status for Game 2 tomorrow against the Heat. Grizzlies point guard Ja Morant will be a game-time decision for Game 2 tomorrow night against the Lakers because of a hand injury.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Man, a lot to get to. Been a great show. Thanks for being here. If you're just jumping aboard, we still got a lot in this hour to get to, including ESPN's FPI for 2023, where they have LSU in the preseason and the odds of making the playoff, all the good stuff. We'll get some football talk here shortly. And LSU baseball back on the diamond tonight against the Cajuns. 90 minutes of first pitch. We'll preview it and get you the lineup here at the bottom of the hour. More good news for Matt McMahon and the basketball Tigers. They had work to do in the portal, and man, is he racking up on some Louisiana guys, bringing them back home. We talked to Jordan Wright last week. We talked to Jalen Cook last week, and now the latest Louisiana native who left and is coming back to play for the Purple and Gold, Carlos Stewart. Of course, Dunham High, who went to Santa Clara the last couple of years and is heading home to play for the Purple and Gold. And Matt McMahon, Carlos Stewart joining us now on AFR. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Great to be a Tiger today.
Man, it's great to have you as a Tiger. First and foremost, I'm very curious. Why did you ditch the goggles or the glasses in college that you wore in high school?
Why did I ditch them? I would say I ditched them because going to California, my prescription always changed a lot when I was in Louisiana. So my parents was worried that it would switch a lot, and they didn't really want me to have to go through all of that process and going to the doctor and stuff. So we decided to get LASIK surgery.
Very good. Okay. Look, I'm a LASIK believer, man. Had my LASIK done several years ago. It's the best decision I ever made. Shout out Dr. Blake Williamson. Hey, did LSU, how much did LSU and Will Wade recruit you when you were coming out of Dunham?
They didn't recruit me at all, really. Wow. I didn't hear much from them when in the recruiting process, so I would say not at all.
So if you think back, was that, being a Baton Rouge guy, was that a goal, a dream to play for the hometown school?
Oh, of course. Anytime to play for the hometown school is a big honor and a big privilege. But, I took it as a chip on my shoulder going to Santa Clara and, not holding a grudge against LSU or Will Wade or anything, but just, just taking a chip on my shoulder and going to Santa Clara and doing what I have to do,
Yeah. It's funny. We talked to Jordan Wright last week after he made his decision and his announcement. It was similar. But he also talked about the opportunity to come back. I'm curious. I'm sure you and Jordan have talked, and probably Jalen Cook as well. When did you all talk, and what were those conversations like about the opportunity to play together?
We did talk, and the opportunity to play together. We always talked about how it would be big for the state of Louisiana, as a whole, not just for our personal futures, but for the state of Louisiana. LSU coming off a struggling season last year, we thought, it would be good. We talked about it and stuff like that we could come back and really turn the city back up, and that's what we plan on doing.
Why, and Carlos Stewart's our guest. Look, you had great success at Santa Clara. Why leave?
Like I tell everybody, it's nothing against Santa Clara. But I just felt like me and my parents had a discussion after the season. I felt like it was time to play on a bigger stage in front of more people. And I want to play in front of pros every night, playing at a Power 5, you're going to play against that. You're going to get yourself ready for the NBA. And that's what I feel like leaving Santa Clara, that was a big jump, but it was a necessary jump.
Yeah. Average 15 a night. I mean, undeniably ready for this. I'm curious because, man, I saw the list that one of the recruiting sites posted of when you went into the portal, the known teams that had reached out to you, right, that had contacted you. Man, here it is. I mean, it is a long list. Who showed the most interest in you?
I would say who showed the most interest? LSU, Mississippi State. All of them show interest, to be honest. All of them show interest, but I'd say LSU and Mississippi State showed the most interest.
Man, I'm looking at Bama, Georgia, A&M, Clemson, Oklahoma State, K-State, Texas Tech, BYU, Gonzaga. I mean, a long list. How much of the decision to pick LSU, Carlos, was just the opportunity to come back home and play in your home city?
That was a big part of my decision, really. Soon as I got in the portal, Coach McMahon called me, and it was just he didn't just talk about goals for me or goals for the team. He talked about the goals to, turn this basketball thing around at LSU. Like I said, off the struggling season they had last year, you just turn the thing around as a whole at LSU for the state, for the city, and, coming back to my hometown city and really representing that, that's a big deal. I represented Louisiana as, at Santa Clara, but to come back and just play in the hometown is a big deal, and I understand that. I understand, sports is a big deal in Louisiana, especially football, basketball, and every sport, baseball, you name it. But, for me to come back in my hometown and really play in front of my friends and family, that's the biggest thing,
What else did you consider? What other factors, did you consider when picking a school, aside from obviously LSU giving you the opportunity to come to Baton Rouge? What else did you consider?
Probably a system that's going to push me to be my best. That's what I look for. I want to be the best I can be as a growing adult, as a young man, and as a basketball player. So I looked at that as a decision as well. Not just coming back in the hometown, but is Coach McMahon going to push me to be the best I can do, to max out? And that was a big part of it. And also just being back home around my resources to where I can train. My dad, Coach Pixley, Coach Brad, Coach Jay, and also adding in now the LSU coaching staff, I'll be able to develop my game and reach a new level of status. So it's really big. I'm really excited.
So I'm glad you went there. Let's talk ball. then. When you met with Matt McMahon, what did he tell you about your game and how you fit into what he wants to do?
He has told me about the players he's coached, how he's had John Morant, and on that team he's coached with John Morant that made it to the NCAA championship, how Ja wasn't even the leading scorer, it was another guy. So with everything going on and the portal going on, it was like, okay, he has wanted me to – he needed a shot creator. That's what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I can create shots for myself. I'm a scorer, but I can do more than score. I'm a dog. I like to play defense. I like to get in the passing lanes. I like to do everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do whatever I need to do for the team to win and the team to have the best position to win. I'm not coming to LSU to, just come down and come back to my hometown and play around. I'm coming back to, to make it to the tournament and make a big run for the national championship. That was the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? Coming back to my hometown and putting the city back on the map.
Man, I was talking to Coach Pixley about you, and he said in so many words, he's the kind of guy. I'll clean it up. He said he's the kind of guy that would like dunk on his mama to win a game type thing. You know what I mean? Like that's how bad this guy wants to win. Where is that rooted, man? Like I'm going to ask you a very obvious question, open-ended, but I'm just trying to get a little bit into your psyche as an elite athlete. But how badly does winning drive you?
Winning is the root to everything. If you win, that's when everybody starts to look at you when you win. And my parents taught me that at a really young age, like to win, to do your best to make the team win. It's all about the team. It isn't an individual sport. This is a team sport. And, throughout this game of basketball, I've built many great relationships with friends, and I built a relationship with the game of basketball because the game of basketball is like a source of peace to me. I would go to the gym and just be happy and shoot around and just clear my mind. It's a source of peace that I go to the gym and do. But I just love to play basketball. Why not win? Why not win on the court? I'm playing it for a reason. I hate to lose. I just hate it. So, just winning, just my parents taught me at a young age, and I just hated to lose. I would cry every time I lost a Little League game, So, just my parents rooting that in me at a really young age that you're a winner. You're a winner. You're not a loser. You're a winner,
Man, a lot of people are going to be excited to hear that. Hey, man, I'm looking at your Twitter account, and there's this video of you throwing out a first pitch at a baseball game. Now, look, I mean, I got to tell you, dude. Oh, so you said Little League. Did you play baseball as a kid?
No, I just played basketball as a kid. I
Okay.
played basketball whole life.
Now you went in front of the mound. Okay,
Yes.
so you didn't toe the rubber.
Yes.
But I'm gonna tell you, man, the arm action you had with some velocity, there was no joke there, man. Like, how much did you have to practice this?
I looked up a little YouTube video before it and see how to throw a pitch and stuff. I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Right.
So I looked up a little YouTube video to see what I needed to do to perfect the little pitch, and I did my best. But I have my hands in everything. So I can play football, I can play basketball, I can do everything.
Hey, man.
Not just a basketball player. I can do more than that.
Close. We've seen some really great athletes fail miserably at their first pitch attempt, man. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like hitting cameramen in the dugout and stuff like that. I mean, there had to be a little bit of nerves. I mean, the way you celebrated this was like you just hit the game-winning shot to win the Natty.
Yes. Well, a lot of emotion was going through after I threw the pitch, but it's a reason why I stepped up over the mound. I didn't want to throw it. It looked too far. If you read my lips in the video, I said that's too far. So I stepped up a little bit, make it more comfortable for me. So,
man. Y'all go.
I did what I needed to do to win in that situation.
I hear you, man. Y'all go follow Carlos on Twitter. He's at Carlos _Stewart _ at Carlos _Stewart _ 775 followers, man. We got to get that number up. I have a feeling after this conversation, that's gonna climb a little bit. Hey, man, congrats on your decision. We'll look forward to seeing you. Are you still out in Santa Clara finishing the semester?
Yes, I am.
Okay, man. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you when you get back to Baton Rouge, man. Congrats on your decision.
Thank you. Go Tigers.
All right, man. It's our pleasure. We appreciate the time today. That is Carlos Stewart. I'm telling you, man, that guy, that was getting Jordan Wright, getting Jalen Cook, huge. you have a feeling Stewart is the guy that's going to drive the offensive engine and be just, as he just said it, like the dog on the floor that just wants to win, is not going to tolerate what happened last year, sort of thing. That was a big one, man. All three were big for different reasons. It feels like Stewart is the linchpin to the whole thing. So they got a lot of work still to do. Don't misunderstand. Matt McMahon ain't done. And it worked out well that you had some guys who had local ties, had that passion for LSU and wanted to be here and make the most of the opportunity. But a ton of work still to do. Thanks to Carlos Stewart for a couple of minutes. Y'all could give him a follow. Dude's at 775 followers on Twitter. Like, we can get that number up at Carlos_Stewart_. Y'all go give him a follow. Shout him out. All right, let me knock out a break. We'll come back, and ESPN's preseason FPI is out. We'll look at it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by ProCharge EV, and I've been talking about ProCharge for a while now. One of the things that always comes to mind when I talk about it, it's like some people kind of debate whether they like EVs or not. The thing that I would tell you is, if you own a grocery store, whether you drink beer or not, you're going to sell beer because people buy it. It's good business. If you own a business or a commercial building, it doesn't matter what you think about EVs. People drive them. And the number and rate at which they are being produced, bought, and driven is on the hockey stick curve right now. So if you have an EV charger at your business, you're going to attract people to your business to charge their vehicle and be customers at your business. Also, that's a revenue opportunity. Tap to pay options on the EV charger. ProCharge EV is giving away 3 EV chargers this month to anywhere in Louisiana. Just go to ProChargeEV.com, hit the charger giveaway tab at the top, and enter. ProChargeEV.com. Again, ProChargeEV.com. Do it now.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Not only did she tell us, but this young lady, stand up. And this young lady,
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, going to get into the preseason FPI for college football. Not just the ranking, but percent chance to make the playoff, percent chance to win the national championship. Remember, it is NBA playoff time, though, y'all. We are fired up to tell you about DraftKings and the latest promotion that they have right now. DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. You can get in on the excitement of every NBA game with a touch of a button. If you're a new customer, make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. It's right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And everyone, new or existing customers, can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every single day during the NBA playoffs. Just go to the app, opt in, place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you get a bonus bet back up to $10. It's right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 pregame moneyline bet. Get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. It's only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with the code Baton Rouge. And now the disclaimer. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bet issues. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in required. One bonus bet issued based on amount of initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. Every year around this time, ESPN puts out its FPI. And I always throw out this caveat that the FPI, while it is a metric that when it says something we like, we gravitate to it. And when it says something that we don't, we call it crap. This was a metric that had LSU winning 5 games in 2018, I believe it was. The year they went 9-3 and, of course, won the Fiesta Bowl. So it ain't always right. Again, FPI is a metric. It is not the only thing, and it is certainly not infallible. But it's interesting to look at because FPI considers a lot of different metrics. It will take, for the preseason FPI, by the way, it looks at, and then they update FPI every week as the season goes along. It's past performance on offense and defense, returning production, transfer production, past recruiting data, all that. It forms a rating, and then they simulate the season 20,000 times to get the averages, and boom, that's what the data says, right? Not a perfect formula, but a formula to determine your top 25 based on their rating, and then percent chances of winning the league and making the playoffs and all that sort of stuff. Well, not to bury the lead, FPI loves LSU, and it makes sense. LSU's returning production, especially on offense with Jaden Daniels, who accounted for roughly 65-70% of your offensive production, is massive. So FPI has LSU 4th in the preseason top 30. Ohio State 1, followed by Bama, defending champ Georgia, then LSU. Texas, Michigan, USC, Clemson, Notre Dame, Penn State round out the top 10. If you're looking at other SEC teams, Tennessee is 12. By the way, Florida State is tied for 13th. Well, more on them in a second. Ole Miss, 16th. Florida and Texas A&M tied for 18th. Two very interesting teams that the on-field results last year weren't good, but when you look at returning production and recruiting rankings, the computers are going to love teams like Florida and Texas A&M. And the pollsters may really like Texas A&M this year as well because it's a team that returns a lot and quite honestly should be better. Now, I love LSU sitting there at 4. It makes so much sense. When you consider LSU, when you have Jaden Daniels back, Josh Williams back, all of your leading rushers are back, The only of your leading receivers that aren't back, Kayshon Boutte, who was second behind Malik Neighbors, but everything else aside from Jeray Jenkins returns. Mason Taylor is back. It makes a lot of sense. And yes, while you are losing guys like Micah Baskerville and Jay Ward and Joe Fouché, who were big-time contributors defensively, you're returning Greg Brooks and Harold Perkins, and then you're going to add guys that you've added in the transfer portal like Omar Spates, who's very productive, Ovie Ogofu from Texas, who's a 6-year player. So guys who have experience and productivity with all of the star rankings, it's going to formulate to like LSU a lot. It's just another validation point for LSU going into this season that, look, the pollsters like LSU because of what we saw a year ago. The computers like LSU a lot as well because of all the metrics that tie together. Now, as far as best chance to win the national championship, this is where there is a very, very clear point of demarcation for not just LSU, but all of college football. FPI gives Ohio State the best chance at 37% to win the national championship. Now, we can have the conversation. No C.J. Stroud. What does it mean at quarterback? How good really is Ohio State? But remember, you got to be able to get into the playoff to have a chance to win it. So that's naturally going to change odds. But 37% chance is the best odds to win it. That also means there's a 63% chance you won't win it. Alabama second at 20%, Georgia at 19%, then a massive drop-off. Texas next at 6%, LSU and Michigan each at 4%, Clemson and Southern Cal at 3%, Notre Dame at 2%, Penn State less than 1%. Those are the only teams, 10 teams total, that FPI gives an opportunity, gives any percent chance whatsoever to win the national championship. But LSU is on that list at 4. Maybe the bigger question, there's a couple of other things. Texas, look, the annual question about Texas, are they overrated, underrated? I get it. It's always going to be in there. Odds just to make the playoff. For what it's worth, Ohio State, 82% chance to make the playoff. Georgia, 63%. Alabama, 62%. Followed by Texas, Michigan, Southern Cal, LSU, and Clemson each at 24%. So LSU's a little far down there, but again, you got to keep in mind, chances are to make the playoff, you got to win the SEC. To win the SEC, you're going to have to beat Bama and Georgia, who have better odds than you. So you could see an LSU team which is better than the teams ranked ahead of it, but because you got to get ahead of Bama and Georgia, who were 2 and 3 on this list, it's difficult. The big takeaway, though, and this is the one that if you're an LSU fan, you'll probably look at and go, Florida State. Florida State, preseason top 10, a media darling, Jordan Travis coming back, a lot of people high on Florida State. FPI gives Florida State just a 4% chance, just 4% of making the college football playoff. That's 13th on the list. Now, it's not nothing, but keep in mind, LSU's got a 24% chance in a league that has Bama and Georgia in it. Florida State just 4%. Essentially, what FPI says about Florida State is, yeah, we like Jordan Travis. We don't like any of your other talent. Not highly recruited, and you don't have a ton of production coming back, in particular on the defensive side of the ball. So FPI not very bullish on Florida State. That's a big-time disagreement whenever you look at what the pollsters are going to say about Florida State, considering how they finished last year, 10-3, Jordan Travis coming back for another season. But the computers are going, yeah, aside from that, not a whole lot that we like. And, oh, by the way, we like Clemson a lot better than Florida State. And if you're in that league, you better be able to win it if you're going to make the playoff. And they're saying, yeah, we like Clemson better than Florida State. So some of the interesting tidbits in there. And there's one other thing that I found very interesting from FPI. They gave, by conference, the odds of having a team make the playoff, and then the chance of having multiple teams make the playoffs. No surprise, SEC, 97% chance of having a team in the playoffs. Big Ten, 94% chance. Then the Big 12 is at 46%. So massive drop-off. Basically saying SEC, Big Ten, locks, you're getting a team in. Here's what's fascinating. FPI gives the SEC a 51% chance of having multiple teams. That's interesting because that is a greater chance than the Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, or independents have of getting one team in. The computers are saying that the SEC has a 51% chance of getting two teams in, whereas the Big 12 has a 46% chance of getting one team. It's more probable that the SEC gets two than any of those other leagues getting one. And that may bode well for LSU considering the schedule. And that's a thing that when we fast forward to December, I think that's the conversation we're going to be having about LSU, Bama, and Georgia. That the SEC, I think this is a year, and a lot can happen over the course of a season, of course. But when you look at the Pac-12, where the only real contender, and with respect to Washington and Michael Penix, with respect to Oregon with Bo Nix coming back, Southern Cal feels like the only real contender. Heisman Trophy winner there, Lincoln Riley. They feel like the only thing that's and I guess I should obviously throw Utah in the mix as well with Cam Rising back at quarterback. But the Pac-12 just has a 34% chance of getting one team in. The ACC, the FPI are not believers in the ACC. You're probably not going to have an undefeated team. That's probably what it's going to take to get a team in from the ACC. The SEC is going to have a great chance this year of getting multiple teams in. It's really a question of how the tiebreakers go with the SEC championship game and potentially getting a team in that loses the SEC championship game or a team that doesn't play in the SEC championship game, however that may go. I think playing the schedule that LSU will play that includes Florida State in the non-conference and, of course, your regular SEC slate, it's going to favor LSU. And having Tennessee rotate off and Missouri rotate on, I think could ultimately be the differentiator for LSU in the West this year. Because that Tennessee loss, of course, last year was until the A&M loss at the end, I understand. But understand, like when we were having the conversations until the last week of the season about playing potentially in the national championship, in the college football playoff, the Tennessee loss was the big scarlet letter for LSU. Like, how do you ignore this home blowout loss to Tennessee, right? Well, if Tennessee rotates off and Missouri rotates on and you win that game, that now shifts into your favor, where it's even if you go on the road and lose to Alabama and Alabama plays Georgia in the SEC championship game and potentially loses that game to Georgia. Again, this is all just a hypothetical. You could make an argument for LSU to be in as a one-loss over a two-loss Alabama. We all know we've seen that before. So, again, FPI is just a metric. It's just a way to look at, say, what did the computers say relative to what the pollsters, what people are saying right now. Where is their agreement? Where is their disagreement? One thing is for certain. Both like LSU a lot. While humans like LSU, like Florida State, computers don't so much. And the computers love the SEC's chance of getting not one but two teams in the playoff this year. All right, y'all. It's after further review. We're an hour away from first pitch. LSU and ULL, the return of Javen Coleman. We're going to look at the starting lineup coming here in just a second. I want to remind you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Y'all, we're out on a Hudco call earlier today. Many of you know, of course, I don't just endorse Hudco. I'm a partner with Hudco. And one thing is abundantly clear right now. Door knockers, man. The door knockers are out and about. And it's something we will never do. And I cannot encourage you enough to ignore door knockers, ignore companies that you've never heard of, ignore companies that have not been around, because it's the same story every single time. Every single time, it's the same story. Said they gave me a great deal, this or that, hired them, had a problem, never heard from them again. They were gone. Trust a reputable company. Trust a company that's been around, been in Louisiana for more than 20 years. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. No matter what corner of the state you're in. The 318, the 225, the 504, the 337, the 985. Just dial us up. We'd love to give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. We have experts on staff that work with your insurance adjusters. Y'all, there was awful weather that came through this past Saturday. Y'all saw it. Friday night, Saturday morning. It was horrendous. If you were in the path of that weather, chances are you had some roof damage. Don't go into storm season with issues with your roof, let us come take a look for free. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Call us today. Hudco Roofing or HudcoRoofing.com. Okay, quick break. We're going to get to Otter Locks here in about 15 minutes as well. Otter texted me. Okay, we got an early pick. Here you go. 5:40 start time. Otter likes the Reds on the money line at plus 115. So if you want to get in on the action, first pitch in that game is in 7 minutes from right now. So we'll get to Otter Locks. But again, if you want to get in on the action early, there's an early start with the Reds. Otter likes the money line for Cincinnati. I'm trying to pull up DraftKings. Here we go. DraftKings. It's Reds-Rays. So the Reds at home. I'm actually looking at DraftKings right now. That's plus 105. But if you want to get in on it right now, you can do so. That is going to be Nick Lodolo pitching for the Reds against Taj Bradley for the Rays. That one, again, starts here in about 6 minutes from right now. We'll get to Otter Locks in a little more than 10 minutes. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at tonight's starting lineup. LSU against ULL. Tigers and Cajuns. We'll give you a thumbnail preview of it when we return here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Hey, I really strongly encourage you. Rouse's tell you about the crawfish all the time. Even though Easter's gone, it's still spring. It's still crawfish time. Get to Rouse's. Live or boiled, having your own crawfish boil, they'll sell them to you live. You want them to do the work, no worries. Get them boiled from Rouse's, their own in-house boiling rooms every single day, fresh at Rouse's at everyday great prices as well. That's at Rouse's. The official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints is Rouse's. They got their truckload sale coming up as well. I encourage you to get to the website, Rouse's.com. Again, that's Rouse's.com. You can learn about the truckload sale and all the great deals that they have going on over at Rouse's. If you want pickup or delivery options, they got them for you. It's Rouse's, where, of course, they are the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. They got great deals, more than 60 locations around the Gulf South. Find that location nearest you at Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd
at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and Joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks, Jambalaya Showdown, presented by Oshner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along. Glad you're with us here. Inside of an hour away from first pitch, LSU and ULL. The thing you kind of got to know about the Cajuns is they will run. They have more than 100 stolen base attempts on the season. I believe LSU, I'm not looking at it right now, is something like 15 of 21 on the year in stolen base attempts. So just for perspective, this is a team that when they get on, they're generally going to be on the move. So similar to what you saw with Kentucky this past weekend. All right, here's the lineup for LSU tonight against ULL. Morgan will lead off and play in left field. Cruz will bat second, play in center. Tommy White batting third, playing third. And Cade Beloso DHing will bat fourth. Jared Jones will play first and bat fifth. Braden Jobert in the sixth hole playing right field. Jordan Thompson batting seventh, playing short. Jack Merrifield will get the start at second base. He'll bat eighth. And then Alex Milazzo back in the lineup tonight, batting ninth and catching. And the big story, of course, Javen Coleman is making his return, was injured in his third outing last year, had the torn UCL, had Tommy John surgery, battled back. We saw him in the bullpen a couple of times in games 2 and 3 of the Kentucky series. Did not get the call, but is going to be on the bump tonight for the Tigers, so we know he will pitch. And it will be interesting to see how much he pitches, how far they let him go, how much he's able to extend. Is it just, hey, get out there and give us an inning and just get on the mound and see how it goes? Or do they try to let him get 6, 9 outs? It'll be really interesting to watch. But the thing about Javen Coleman that always stood out when he was on the bump for LSU was his command. And a guy that the stuff from the left side is good. Terrio told us on Friday when he was here that saw Javen Coleman throw a bullpen about a week ago where he was throwing 95, 96. So he didn't have that kind of velo his first season at LSU. But, you look at him, I'm looking at his stats here from his freshman season where he threw 32 2/3 innings, 43 strikeouts, just 18 walks. So a guy that could command the zone and pump strikes, and here's hoping he can do that tonight. So it'll be really good to see Javen Coleman back out there. So again, for the Tigers tonight, still no Gavin Dugas. So they'll line it up like this: Morgan, Cruz, White, Beloso, Jones, Jobert, Thompson, Merrifield, Milazzo. That's how LSU will line it up tonight against the Cajuns. By the way, here was Jay Johnson on his radio show talking about ULL and the challenge LSU faces tonight against the Cajuns.
Fastest team I've ever seen in college baseball. They have over 100 stolen bases. They have a style of play that they do really, really well. They're really aggressive at the plate. And, they didn't have a great weekend this weekend, and they're a little beat up. Their catcher was sick. Their shortstop has a hand injury. So we'll see how that plays out coming in tomorrow. But, they're strong, they're fast, they're athletic, well coached. They do a lot of things really, really well. And this is one of those that you want to put on the board because when we do, it's a big feather in our cap for a team that has a chance to win a conference championship and has a great record, and really looking forward to the competition tomorrow night.
So that, of course, was Jay Johnson on his radio show Monday. So the game is tonight, starting in less than an hour from right now. 2 other things. Number one, Jay was asked for an update on Gavin Dugas, who's not in the lineup tonight against the Cajuns, but some whispers maybe they hope to get him back for this weekend against Ole Miss.
We have a bruised shoulder. It just needs the swelling to go down so he can move it the way that he needs to do it to swing and throw. He took some ground balls today, which is a good update. Did not swing yet, did not throw yet, but I'm optimistic we'll see him sooner rather than later. He's very tough, competes really hard, which is why he gets banged up sometimes. But there's nobody that wants to be back on the field. And, he walked in my office on Saturday morning and goes, I'll find a way to be ready to play next weekend. So if there's one guy on my team that I'd trust to believe him with that, Gavin would be that.
That would be awesome if he's out there against Ole Miss if this weekend. If not, this is a really good opportunity for Merrifield tonight. And you hate to say it this way, but it's almost like if you could find anything offensively from Merrifield or Napolt, it's a plus. Look, I mean, there were a lot of guys who hit into the double plays this past weekend against Kentucky. But there were big spots where you've got to be able to have a productive at bat. Even if you're not going to hit for average, it's fine. You got to find a way to put the ball in play, to get runners over, to keep an inning going, to keep the merry-go-round going. So let's see what Merrifield might be able to do tonight for LSU. Batting eighth, again, getting the start at second. And one more, we mentioned Javen Coleman getting the start tonight, which is awesome to see. What about the bullpen for tonight's game against the Cajuns?
We have to be mindful, though, of the staff and how much we push guys. So tomorrow night, we need some guys to step up that you may not see in games like that or scores like that against the quality team that we're playing or haven't seen them yet, but they're going to get their opportunity. And I was really pleased with Blake Money last week. We got 2 good performances out of him. That's a big deal, I think. If we could get 5 innings a week out of him with only 3 runs on the board like we did last week, that helped us win 3 out of 4. Sam Dutton, who pitched a lot for us last year, he's going to figure into it. Micah Bucknam, Riley Cooper can come back. We'll see where some of those other guys are at that pitched on Saturday, but we have to be super mindful with what we're doing with guys right now, and I think we're fortunate that we have a lot of guys that can contribute.
A big part of that, of course, is without having Shores, without having Edwards, guys that you count on to eat. We're counting on to eat up innings over the weekend. With them not available, guys that you would typically use in a midweek situation are going to be called upon in the weekend. So that's what he's alluding to there. You got to be mindful of it to make sure guys are ready to pitch on the weekend, but still managing to get through your midweek games as well. So Tigers and Cajuns, 45 minutes from right now, first pitch out at the box. All right, brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. This is the time of year, y'all. As the temperatures start to tick up and your home central AC starts to work overtime, the worst thing that can happen is those costly air leaks, leaky, drafty windows that allow the air that your AC is working so hard to keep your home cool just escape. We're letting that warm air in to make that AC run overtime, drives your energy bills up. Energy-efficient replacement windows. It'll keep your home cool. It'll keep your energy costs low. In time, these windows will pay for themselves and, of course, increases your home's resale value. And my goodness, lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Why would you call anyone else? You wouldn't. It's Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Okay, y'all, one segment to go here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. It's been great to be back and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Tons of LSU spring football talk. If you missed it, some baseball talk earlier this hour. New LSU basketball Tiger Carlos Stewart was with us. You can catch everything on demand if you missed it. AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. Golf.breck.org. All right, y'all, final break of the show. When we come back, little out of locks. If you want to get a live in-game in on the Cincinnati Reds, the 5:40 Central Time first pitch. That one's underway there in Cincinnati against the Rays. Otter already gave you the Reds and that one on the money line, so if you want to get in on the action, you can. We'll see what else the Otter has for us when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney's new episode of Grubbin' with G is up right now. It's Gordon McKernan sitting down with LSU first baseman and left fielder Trey Morgan. Always love these conversations. If you haven't had a chance to check him out, it's a very candid look at members of the G team, right? That's, of course, Gordon's NIL team. And there's Trey Morgan talking to Gordon about really, if he ever gets nervous in games. It's a very candid way to get to know the G team, and it's a very cool thing that Gordon sits down with members of the G team and talks to them so openly and candidly about not only sports but life. It's great content. It's available on any of the social media platforms. Make sure you're following at Get Gordon. Tell you about Gordon Gives and Gordon's Grads. If you're graduating or know someone who's graduating, Gordon gives away a dozen free laptops. You want to register, you can, or enter gordonsgrads.com, gordonsgrads.com. If you've been injured and you need representation, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a $1
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Glad to have you hanging with us. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable, the often incomprehensible, the Oddfather himself, Jimmy Otter. How are you?
Good. How about you? You back from your vacation, buddy? A little rest?
Was not a vacation, but I'm happy to be back. Hey man, I heard you had a 1-1 day yesterday on the Kings.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Kings win.
NBA playoffs in swing, little MLB action. We gave out the Reds play earlier,
okay,
so I
good.
saw it. We gave it out, so we'll see how that goes.
Good.
What else are we
Good.
looking at tonight, man?
All right, Minnesota Twins, Sonny Gray, kid from Vanderbilt. He's pitching about as good as anybody in Major League Baseball. That includes Shohei Ohtani. Basically a pick'em, -110 at Fenway. Fenway's going to be a challenge. It has been very hitter-friendly this year. But Chris Sale, that's all about reputation only. He has not pitched well at all, and so we're going to continue to fade him until they show us something. Twins are good, man. Twins are the team to beat in that American League Central. They re-signed Correa to the long-term contract after the one-year deal last year. They're good. They're good. I'm going to take them both in the money line, Matt, and also +150 on the run line, -1.5.
Okay.
Laying a run line on visiting teams only.
Whoa.
Either way, +1.5 or -1.5, only the visiting teams. White Sox are down 7-4 in the first of a two-game doubleheader on the south side. I don't know if you happen to check out the fight on the South Side. Just another day on the South Side of Chicago. I mean, chicks throwing punches. I mean, just a little bit of, grabbing hair. Right when it's just nothing like the South Side of Chicago. White Sox will bounce back tonight. Lucas Giolito, after a slow start, did show that he's kind of back. We think he's back to form. He's a strong pitcher. We think he's going to be fine tonight. Bounce back, get the split tonight on the White Sox. 2 basketball games in the NBA tonight. First of all, India always wonder. It's very popular to go with the flip-flop, the zigzag, theory. Whoever loses, bounce back type of theory. Well, you saw what the bounce back did for the Golden State Warriors last night. No. So I watched the Knicks and Cleveland game as well. Keep in mind, Jalen Brunson played like 8 minutes the first half, and they still won the game outright. They're getting 6. The public is coming in on Cleveland. That's a big number. They better put somebody else on Brunson because the guy they had on him the other night. And I just thought the degree of difficulty for the field goal attempts for Cleveland was very tough. Tom Thibodeau's got this team playing really good, confident. We wanted to see how healthy Julius Randle was as well. He did fine. He should expand upon his minutes as well. I like the Knicks +6 a lot in the early game. In the game that's getting ready to tip in Boston. What did Atlanta show us at all that they can compete against the Boston Celtics?
They stink.
1 minute remaining.
I bet you $1 billion Miami beats them.
Miami beats.
It was a Barkley reference. Never mind. Barkley bet Shaq during the play-in. Barkley told Shaq he bet him $1 billion that Miami was going to beat Atlanta in the play-in. Anyway.
Oh, how did that work out?
It was very memeable. Anyway, go ahead.
Charles Barkley was right. 3 of the 4 series in the East are snooze fest. They've proven to be that way so far. Give us Boston -10 in the early game. So 2 NBA. And a double shot from Minnesota White Sox. We already got action today.
Where are you, Otter?
Dozy Place, right down the street. Matthew, come on by on your way home.
All right, man. Have a great show. We appreciate it.
All right, see you.
All right, Game Time with Jimmy Out follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com. Been a great show. We appreciate y'all for being there with us today. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Get on down the road. Mind you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper to bumper auto service. It is at Shawbills. Remember, the home of the Charlie's Dozen. That's what you get at Shawbills. A dozen benefits extended to you and your family when you buy tires at Shawbills. I always recommend this. Go to the website, ShawbillsTire.com. You can schedule service online. You can find the location nearest you. You can shop tires online as well, depending on the width, the profile, whatever brand you might be looking for. But here's the thing I tell you about all the time. At Shawbills, they're going to sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. So you can go to the website, hit the promotions tab, and you'll see all of the promotions listed right now. Specific promotions like the spring promotion, the Toyo promotion, they're all there for you. But if you want to find out how you can save money on tires, the offers that they extend to you, just go to ShawbillsTire.com or pull into the local Shawbills nearest you. They'll always treat you like family. At Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today and